This video was made in collaboration with Narutopedia. For more information, check out the link in the description. The life of Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto Uzumaki is a shinobi of Konohagakure's Uzumaki clan. He became the Jinchūriki of the Nine Tails on the day of his birth, a fate that caused him to be shunned by most of Konoha throughout his childhood. After joining Team Kakashi, Naruto worked hard to gain the village's acknowledgement, all while chasing his dream to become Hokage. In the following years, through many hardships and ordeals, he became a capable ninja regarded as a hero both by the villagers and soon after the rest of the world, becoming known as the Hero of the Hidden Leaf. He soon proved to be one of the main factors in winning the Fourth Shinobi World War, leading him to achieve his dream and become the village's Seventh Hokage. Welcome to the Amagi. In today's video, we're going over the life of Naruto Uzumaki Part 2. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all our social medias. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. If you've completed part 1, feel free to skip to the timestamp displayed on the screen. If this is your first time watching, let's start at the very beginning. Background. Naruto was born on the night of October 10th to Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage, and Kushina Uzumaki, the 2nd Jinchūriki of the Nine Tails. He was named after Naruto Musasabi, the protagonist of Jiraiya's first book, which made the Sannin his godfather. The 3rd Hokage made special arrangements for Minato to preserve Kushina's seal containing the Nine Tails when she gave birth to Naruto in a remote location, escorted by midwives and Anbu. A masked man, Tobi, tracked down their location, however, and killed the midwives and Anbu, and captured Naruto, forcing Minato to quickly rescue him and teleport him to a safe house. With Minato gone, Tobi captured Kushina and released the Nine Tails from her, using it to devastate Konoha. Minato saved Kushina and left Naruto in her care before he went to protect the village, eventually defeating Tobi and freeing the Nine Tails from Tobi's control. Returning to Naruto and Kushina's location, Minato realized the only way to stop the Nine Tails was to seal it within Naruto, believing that his son would someday need the fox's power to defeat Tobi when he returned. Since the Nine Tails chakra was too immense to be sealed into an infant, Minato sacrificed his soul to split the fox's chakra in half, sealing the yin half within himself and the yang half within Naruto. After telling Naruto how much they loved him, Minato and Kushina succumbed to their wounds from protecting their son from the Nine Tails and passed away. Orphaned, not having any parents or anyone else to provide for him, Naruto received monthly income from the village in order to afford daily necessities. He grew up not knowing who his parents were, receiving only his mother's surname, as Hiruzen wanted to protect Naruto from his father's enemies. Minato's dying wish that Naruto be regarded as a hero was honored by very few who could put aside their pain and losses caused by the disaster, while the majority of Konoha, having no knowledge of the circumstances surrounding his birth, openly ostracized and resented Naruto for containing the beast that devastated the village and took so many lives. Some even viewed Naruto as the Nine Tails himself. Soon, the 3rd Hokage forbade anyone from mentioning the Nine Tails, hoping that the younger generation would not blindly hate Naruto as their parents did. However, Naruto's peers emulated their parents' hatred of him, despite not knowing why. This social isolation caused Naruto to crave acknowledgement, which he would gain by pulling pranks. On the day of his enrollment in the Ninja Academy, Naruto first met Hinata Hyuga, who was being picked on by 3 bullies. Despite not knowing her, Naruto immediately came to her defense, but was outnumbered and knocked unconscious, and the bullies damaged his red scarf. When Naruto awoke, Hinata thanked him for helping her and returned his scarf to him, but he let her keep it. He was unaware that the girl's growing affections for him began from that moment onwards. In the academy, Naruto became a student of Iruka Umino, who acted as a surrogate older brother to keep him in line and help him work harder. Naruto also met his classmate Sasuke Uchiha and tried to befriend him since he was alone as well. Jealous of Sasuke's skills and popularity, however, he developed a one-sided rivalry in his pursuit to prove himself just as good as, if not better than, Sasuke, wishing that someday Sasuke would accept him as an equal. Naruto also grew close with the owner of Ramen Ichiraku, Teuchi, and his daughter, Ayame, being welcomed as their favorite customer. Prologue, Land of Waves. Failing once again to graduate from the academy, a disappointed Naruto is advised by one of his instructors, Mizuki, to steal the Scroll of Seals and learn a technique from it in order to graduate. As Naruto struggled to learn the Shadow Clone technique, Iruka Umino tracked him down and realized that Naruto was tricked by Mizuki into stealing the scroll. Mizuki attacked them and told Naruto about the Nine Tails sealed within him, claiming that Iruka hated him because of it. When Iruka risked his life to protect Naruto, however, he saw through Mizuki's lies and used the multiple shadow clone technique to defeat him, prompting Iruka to happily grant Naruto his graduation from the academy. Naruto would also later befriend Konohamaru Sarutobi, grandson of the Third Hokage, and teach him several perverted or useful techniques. Naruto was eventually assigned to Team 7, partnered with Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno under the leadership of Kakashi Hatake. During their first meeting, Naruto shared his love of ramen, his hobbies, and his dream to become Hokage. To test their qualifications, Kakashi gave the team a bell test, stating that whichever of the three takes one of the 2 bells on his person will officially become Genin. Instead of hiding like Sakura and Sasuke, Naruto tried to take the bells from Kakashi by force, only to be easily defeated, hung upside down from a tree, and tied to a wooden post in an attempt to steal lunch. After Sakura and Sasuke fail as well, Kakashi explains that the goal of the test was to use teamwork to do together what none of them could do by themselves. He is persuaded to allow them to try again after lunch, but instructs Sasuke and Sakura not to feed Naruto. They feed him anyway, needing him in top form if they're to work together. Kakashi sees this and, because they care more about the team than listening to his instructions, allows them all to pass. After a series of uneventful D-rank missions, Naruto is able to secure a C-rank mission for Team 7, escorting Tazuna to the Land of Waves. Soon after leaving Konoha, they are attacked by the Demon Brothers. Naruto is paralyzed with fear, forcing Sasuke to step in to disarm them and protect Tazuna until Kakashi can capture them. Tazuna confesses that assassins have been hired to kill him, but he couldn't afford the bodyguard detail he needs. Although the mission is now A-rank in nature, far beyond the skill of Genin, Team 7 decides to continue with it. Angered by Sasuke's taunting of him, Naruto cuts his hand to bleed out the poison he received earlier, vowing to never waver again. When they arrive in the Land of Waves and are confronted by Zabuza Momochi, Naruto is overwhelmed by the battle between Kakashi and Zabuza before he's knocked aside by Zabuza's water clone. Remembering his vow, Naruto regained his confidence and teamed up with Sasuke to free Kakashi from Zabuza's water prison. In the end, Zabuza is seemingly killed by Haku, allowing Team 7 to escort Tazuna back to his house. Kakashi finds Zabuza's death suspicious and decides to train the team in case he returns. He has them perform the tree climbing practice in order to improve their chakra control, which will help them against Zabuza. Naruto becomes frustrated after several failures and asks for advice from Sakura, who herself mastered it from the start. Now rapidly improving, Naruto competes with Sasuke to finish the training, each determined to outdo the other. One day, Naruto encounters Haku, albeit unaware of his true identity, and they each discuss their dreams and desire to protect those precious to them. After Haku leaves, Naruto finishes the training with Sasuke but is left exhausted, so Team 7 leaves him behind the next morning as they resume their escort duties. Naruto awakens and arrives to assist Team 7 in fighting Zabuza and Haku, but unaware of how Haku's demonic mirroring ice crystals work, he joins Sasuke within the prison. Naruto cannot break free with his shadow clones, and Sasuke cannot melt the ice with his fire. As Haku moves in to kill Naruto, Sasuke uses his body as a shield to protect Naruto and seemingly dies. Enraged by Sasuke's apparent death, Naruto unwittingly accesses the Nine-Tails chakra for the first time, allowing him to destroy the ice mirrors and defeat Haku, breaking his mask. Realizing his opponent was the boy he met before, Naruto calms himself. He's asked by Haku to kill him, since he feels of no further use to Zabuza. Before Naruto can do so, Haku immediately stops him and goes off to save Zabuza from being killed by Kakashi, sacrificing his own life. When Zabuza refuses to appreciate this, Naruto angrily scolds him, stating that Haku gave up his life to save someone precious to him. Touched by his words, Zabuza, using Naruto's kunai, killed Gato and many of his henchmen before he himself dies. Sasuke soon awakens, and when their injuries heal, Team 7 leaves for home via Tazuna's newly constructed Great Naruto Bridge. Chūnin Exams. Team 7 resumes its series of unremarkable missions. For their performance in the Land of Waves, however, Kakashi decides to enter them in the Chūnin Exams taking place in Konoha, which greatly excites Naruto. Because they've only recently graduated from the academy, the three feel they must give strong showings to prove themselves. When they enter the exam hall, the team is met by Rock Lee, who challenges Sasuke to a fight. Naruto tries to attack Lee in jealousy, but is easily swept aside. The fight is interrupted by Might Guy, after which Naruto notes that the bandages around Lee's arms signify his arduous taijutsu training. During the exam's first stage, the participating genin are given a written test, the goal of which is to cheat without getting caught. Unaware of this, Naruto struggles to answer the questions, so Hinata Hyuga, who's seated beside him, offers to let him copy off her paper. Despite the temptation, Naruto declined Hinata's offer, claiming that he isn't the type to cheat and they might be disqualified if they're caught. Before the 10th question can be given, the genin are presented with the opportunity to forfeit. Naruto refuses to do so, declaring his refusal to give up and his goal to still become Hokage. His determination to face the 10th question despite the potential consequence inspires the rest of the genin to do the same, so they pass the first stage. It is later noted that he was the only one to hand in a blank sheet, though this did not prevent him from passing. For the second phase, teams enter the Forest of Death with the objective of obtaining a set of 2 scrolls, one of which they're given at the start. Naruto becomes separated from his team and is attacked and swallowed by a giant snake. He manages to kill it and regroups with his frightened teammates against Orochimaru. Angered by Sasuke's sudden cowardice and resignation, Naruto engages Orochimaru using the Nine-Tails Chakra, defeats his giant snake, and taunts Sasuke before Orochimaru suppresses the Nine-Tails Chakra, rendering Naruto unconscious. After he awakens, Team 7 continues its search for the second scroll, which they eventually gain by defeating Team Oboro, allowing them to pass the second stage. In the preliminary matches of the exam, Naruto was pitted against Kiba Inuzuka and his dog, Akamaru. Believing the match to be an easy victory, Kiba and Akamaru overwhelm Naruto with many high-speed attacks. So Naruto tricks Kiba into knocking Akamaru out of the fight by using the transformation technique, shocking all spectators. Naruto then disorients Kiba by farting in his face and defeats him with the Naruto Uzumaki combo, which he invented from watching Sasuke's lion combo. When Neji and Hinata's match begins, Naruto is enraged by Neji's ruthless tirade against Hinata and cheers Hinata on to defeat Neji. Although Hinata is defeated, Naruto wipes up her blood and vows to defeat Neji in the finals. During the month of training, Naruto first meets Jiraiya, who knocked out Ebisu, Naruto's original teacher, and trains under the Sannin to improve his chakra control. Recognizing Naruto as the Nine-Tails Jinchūriki, Jiraiya removes the seal Orochimaru had placed on Naruto to ease his control and begins teaching him how to use the Nine-Tails power by summoning toads. To accelerate Naruto's slow progress, Jiraiya pushes him off a cliff, causing Naruto to enter his subconscious and meet the Nine-Tails. Working past his fear, he bravely demands chakra from it as rent for living in his body. The Nine-Tails complies, and Naruto summons Gamabunta, although he exhausts himself and ends up in the hospital, where he's visited by Shikamaru Nara. After talking, he and Naruto stop Gaara from killing Rock Lee in the next room and listen to Gaara's story of his childhood, which Naruto finds very similar to his own. Gaara prepares to kill them, but Might Guy intervenes and forces Gaara to retreat. On the day of the finals, Naruto meets Hinata at the third training ground and expresses his doubts about his upcoming match against Neji. Hinata reassures Naruto that he never gave up because he always had the strength to overcome his own failures, admiring him for it. Reinvigorated, Naruto thanks Hinata and tells her even though he first thought she was weird, he likes her now. Facing Neji in the first match of the finals, Naruto began by creating shadow clones to overwhelm Neji's with sheer numbers. Deeming Naruto a failure who could never defeat a genius like himself, Neji easily defeats Naruto's clones and seals his chakra with 8 trigrams 64 palms. Determined to prove Neji's ideals about fate wrong, Naruto tapped into the Nine-Tails chakra and revitalized Clash with Neji. When the smoke cleared, Neji emerges and Naruto lies defeated. This, however, was only a shadow clone, and the real Naruto burst from the ground beneath Neji, defeating him with an uppercut. Before he's declared the winner, Naruto tells Neji that creating clones was once his shortcoming, and that Neji needs to stop believing in inescapable fate. When Sasuke finally arrives for his match with Gaara, Naruto is envious of Sasuke's improvements, but is later put to sleep along with most of the audience, commencing the Konoha Crush. Konoha Crush. Sakura wakes up Naruto so they can pursue Sasuke, who is pursuing Gaara himself. They arrive in time for Naruto to kick Gaara away before he can kill Sasuke. Partially transformed into Shukaku, Gaara knocks Sakura unconscious and binds her to a tree, forcing Naruto to battle him, with little success. Naruto relates to Gaara's painful life as a Jinchūriki, but he's not willing to let anything happen to Sakura and Sasuke. Determined to protect his friends, Naruto creates an army of shadow clones to relentlessly batter Gaara, forcing him to fully transform into Shukaku, to which Naruto responds by summoning Gamabunta. Gaara puts himself to sleep to give control of his body to Shukaku, forcing Naruto and Gamabunta to figure out a way to end the jutsu. They do so by transforming into a giant fox, the Nine-Tails in the anime, to restrain Shukaku, allowing Naruto to awaken Gaara with a solid punch to the face. Shukaku's influence disappears, but Gaara regains control and traps Naruto with his sand. Naruto escapes by tapping into the Nine-Tails chakra and headbutts Gaara when he's close enough, destroying Shukaku's form. Exhausted from the fight, the two leap at each other for one final exchange, and Naruto punches Gaara, claiming victory. Naruto and Gaara fall to the ground, unable to move. Slowly crawling towards Gaara, Naruto explained that he also suffered a painful and lonely life, but was later saved by having friends. To that end, he will do anything to protect them, even if it means killing Gaara. Understanding Naruto's true strength, Gaara retreated with Kankuro and Temari, with a new outlook on life, while Naruto passes out from exhaustion and is returned to Konoha with Sasuke and a rescued Sakura. A few days later, Team 7 attends the third Hokage's funeral. Search for Tsunade. Jiraiya is tasked with finding Tsunade, a candidate for 5th Hokage, and convinces Naruto to accompany him by promising to teach him a technique stronger than Sasuke's Chidori. Stopping at an inn in Shukuba town, Naruto was approached by Kisame Hoshigaki and Itachi Uchiha of Akatsuki, who intend to capture the Nine Tails. When Sasuke shows up and furiously attacks Itachi, Naruto gathers the Nine Tails chakra to help Sasuke, but it's absorbed by Kisame's Samehada. Jiraiya soon arrives and drives off Itachi and Kisame, but Sasuke is left mentally and physically damaged by Itachi. Might Guy appears and takes Sasuke back to Konoha, but not before giving Naruto a spare green jumpsuit. To prepare for the next encounter with Akatsuki, Naruto begins learning the Rasengan, completing 2 of its 3 learning steps. Taking a break from training, Naruto and Jiraiya eventually found Tsunade and her assistant Shizune at a restaurant. When Tsunade refuses the offer to become Hokage and insults all who held the title, an angry Naruto challenged her to a fight and attacked her with an incomplete Rasengan, only to be easily defeated. Impressed by his progress, however, Tsunade makes a bet with Naruto. If he can master the Rasengan in a week, he gets the first Hokage's necklace. If not, she gets his wallet. Naruto agreed and spent the week trying to perfect the Rasengan, but has no success and collapses from exhaustion. Once he recovers, Naruto heads out with Jiraiya and Shizune to stop Tsunade from a meeting with Orochimaru. They arrive to see Tsunade, who never intended to aid Orochimaru, in the midst of battle with Kabuto Yakashi. When Tsunade is incapacitated, Naruto fights Kabuto in her place and eventually defeats him with a perfected Rasengan, which he formed by using a shadow clone. Naruto collapses almost immediately afterwards, his heart muscles torn by Kabuto, but Tsunade successfully manages to heal him, gives him the necklace he wins, and accepts the position of Hokage. After Orochimaru and Kabuto are defeated, Naruto and the others return to Konoha, Tsunade confidently believing Naruto would someday become a great Hokage. Land of Tea Escort Mission. With Konoha having a shortage of Jonin due to Orochimaru's failed invasion, Tsunade was forced to use Genin for more dangerous missions than normally allowed. Team 7, minus Kakashi who was assigned to another mission, was given the assignment of escorting a member of the Wasabi family through a dangerous annual race. Along the way, they met an arrogant teenager named Idate who openly showed his hatred towards ninja. Upon arriving in the Land of Tea and meeting the Wasabi family's leader, Jirocho, Team 7 was shocked to see Idate again, and learn he was the man they were assigned to escort. They encountered Aoi Rokusho, who betrayed Konoha to join Amegakure. After barely surviving Aoi's attack, Idate explained how after he was failed by Ibiki himself for the Chūnin Exams, Aoi tricked Idate into stealing a special scroll and the Sword of the Thunder God from the village. Being able to relate with Idate in both being taken advantage of and the need to have others recognize him, Naruto helped Idate regain his self-worth and continue the race. While managing to catch up in the race, Aoi appeared again and used the Thunder Sword to initially overpower Team 7. But thanks to Sasuke fighting Aoi and weakening his sword with his Chidori, Naruto was able to break it when they clashed and defeat Aoi with his Rasengan. With the danger overcome, Idate was free to continue and win the race for the Wasabi family. While returning to the village, Team 7 was escorted by Ibiki himself. Sasuke Recovery Mission. Naruto visits a recovering Sasuke at the hospital, but he's immediately challenged to a fight, to which Naruto eventually agrees. The fight escalates quickly, culminating with Naruto using Rasengan and Sasuke using Chidori. Kakashi arrives and deflects their attacks into opposing water towers before they can clash, Naruto unknowingly doing more damage than Sasuke. Distressed by Sasuke's behavior, Sakura informs Naruto of the cursed seal Sasuke received from Orochimaru, though Naruto assures Sakura that Sasuke would never abandon Konoha for power. Unfortunately, Sasuke does just that, and Naruto joins the Sasuke recovery team in order to bring him back. He promises a tearful Sakura to do so before he leaves. En route to Sasuke, the team encounters members of the Sound Four, each of which battles with a member of the recovery team, while Naruto engages Kimimaro. Overwhelmed by Kimimaro's taijutsu skills, Naruto is saved at the last minute by Rock Lee, who volunteers to fight Kimimaro, while Naruto heads after Sasuke. Naruto finally meets Sasuke at the Valley of the End. His pleas for Sasuke to come back to Konoha and warnings that Orochimaru will take his body fall on deaf ears. Naruto starts attacking him, ready to take him back to Konoha by force if necessary. Undeterred, Sasuke responds by tapping into his cursed seal and landing a series of heavy blows on Naruto. It becomes painfully clear to Naruto that Sasuke is fighting with an intent to kill, so Naruto utilizes the Nine Tails chakra to overpower Sasuke. Naruto says that Sasuke is like a brother to him, and that he'll do anything to protect that bond. Sasuke vows to sever that bond, but acknowledges Naruto as an equal by putting on his forehead protector. They continued trading blows, with Naruto eventually manifesting a fox-shaped cloak and Sasuke entering his cursed seal's second level. Naruto clashes his Rasengan with Sasuke's Chidori, and within the dome of resulting energy they trade final blows. Sasuke punches Naruto, and Naruto scratches Sasuke's forehead protector. When the energy dissipates, Naruto lies defeated, but Sasuke spares him and continues his way to Orochimaru, leaving his scratched forehead protector behind. Kakashi and Pakun arrive late, and failing to retrieve Sasuke, leave with Naruto. In the hospital, Naruto once again promises Sakura to bring Sasuke back one day. Soon after, Jiraiya arrived with an offer to train Naruto for preparation against Orochimaru and Akatsuki in 3 years, and to give up on Sasuke as he's no different from Orochimaru. Naruto accepts Jiraiya's training, but refuses to give up on Sasuke, satisfying Jiraiya. As in the manga, Naruto later departs with Jiraiya to begin his 2.5 years of training, after making a determined gesture at the Fourth Hokage's statue. Gutsy, master, and student. The training. In the anime, shortly after leaving Konoha, Jiraiya and Naruto discuss the fact that Naruto will need to learn how to counter Genjutsu if he hopes to be a match against Sasuke the next time they meet. Naruto practices with Gamariki to dispel Genjutsu, but he struggles with it and his chakra keeps hitting Gamariki, who doesn't appreciate it. Naruto follows Jiraiya to the Genjutsu Tree village to try a different approach, but they discover the village has been taken over by Kandachi. They free the villagers and then attack Kandachi, who Naruto eventually defeats with his newly created Big Ball Rasengan. As they leave afterwards, Jiraiya is pleased by how similar Naruto is to Minato Namikaze and hugs him, which Naruto is bothered by. In Naruto's footsteps, the friends' paths. 2 years into their training, Naruto's control of the Nine-Tails chakra has improved significantly. Jiraiya tries to give him more access to the Nine-Tails power and uses Gerutora to weaken Naruto's 8 trigram sealing style. Seizing the opportunity, the Nine-Tails mocked Naruto for his inability to save Sasuke, using Naruto's negative emotions to force him to enter a version 2 form with 4 tails. Not in control of his body, Naruto attacks Jiraiya and nearly kills him before he manages to suppress the Nine-Tails. Naruto has no memory of what happened and Jiraiya doesn't tell him, instead shifting Naruto's training to other pursuits, including keeping his anger in check so that the Nine-Tails won't flare up again. Kazekage Rescue Mission. Naruto and Jiraiya return to Konoha after 2.5 years of training, where Naruto becomes surprised by Tsunade's newly formed statue on Hokage Rock. He greets his old friends afterwards. He gives Kakashi a copy of Icha Tactics as a gift, he catches up with Sakura, whom he's become taller than, he gets back into a competition of sexy techniques with Konohamaru Sarutobi, only to be violently reprimanded by Sakura. Kakashi reforms Team 7 with them and gives them another bell test, but unlike last time, taking the bells from him is the real objective. As with last time, Naruto launches a first attack before the test officially begins, but this time it nearly succeeds. Despite their improved abilities, Naruto and Sakura were still unable to get a bell through conventional means. And it was only by Naruto's threat to spoil the latest Icha novel that they distracted Kakashi long enough to take the bells. While Team 7 tries without success to find a mission to go on that Naruto won't complain about, word reaches Konoha that Akatsuki has kidnapped Gaara, the Kazekage. Team 7 is sent to Tsunagakure to assist in rescuing Gaara. On their way to Suna, Naruto explains that Gaara was kidnapped because he's a Jinchūriki of the One Tail, just as Naruto is the Jinchūriki of the Nine Tails. Upon arrival in Suna, Naruto defends Kakashi from Chiyo's assault when she mistakes him for his father. Team 7 gathers what intel they can on Gaara's kidnappers and leave to go after them. Chiyo volunteers to escort them since they aren't familiar with the country around Suna. Naruto promises a recovering Kankuro to rescue Gaara before they leave. While en route to an Akatsuki lair, they're confronted by Itachi Uchiha, who traps Naruto in a genjutsu. Sakura and Chiyo release him, allowing Naruto to team up with Kakashi and defeat Itachi with a Big Ball Rasengan. The Itachi is discovered to be an imposter, so they continue on to the Akatsuki lair, meeting up with Team Guy, who takes down the barrier over the entrance so that Team 7 can get in. They find Gaara's body with his kidnappers, Deidara and Sasori. Deidara flies off with Gaara's body with Naruto and Kakashi in pursuit, leaving Sasori to Chiyo and Sakura. Naruto, enraged, makes repeated failed attempts to rescue Gaara before he's calmed by Kakashi, who uses his new Mangekyo Sharingan to distract Deidara with Kamui. Naruto retrieves Gaara's body, but seeing it drives him over the edge. He furiously attacks Deidara and beats him mercilessly into the ground. Discovering that it was a clay clone, Naruto slips into his two-tailed form in rage, but is returned to normal by Kakashi via the chakra-suppressing seal. Deidara escapes, while Naruto and Kakashi regroup with Sakura, Chiyo, and Team Guy. Sakura attempts to revive Gaara, but the removal of Shukaku has caused him to die. Naruto breaks down in tears and angrily lashes out at Chiyo, saying she had no right to make Gaara not only a Jinchūriki, but also lose his life because of it. As atonement, and with Naruto's aid, Chiyo sacrifices her life to revive Gaara. As the jutsu nears completion, Chiyo voices her faith in Naruto's ability to save Gaara and to become Hokage. Naruto greets Gaara when he awakens, and a few days later, Team 7 and Guy attend Chiyo's funeral in Suna. Before returning home, Naruto and Gaara shake hands, Gaara using his sand as a sign of their close relationship. Tenchi Bridge Reconnaissance Mission. During her fight with Sasori, Sakura learned of an opportunity to meet with a spy in Orochimaru's ranks in a few days' time, hoping it will lead them to Sasuke. Kakashi is left bedridden from his fight with Deidara, so Yamato leads Team 7 as his replacement. Replacing Sasuke on the team is Sai, whom Naruto already encounters earlier and dislikes, declaring him an inferior version of Sasuke. Sai is happy for this distinction and proceeds to degrade Sasuke for defecting from Konoha, forcing Yamato to use his wood release to break up their fight. Naruto is constantly exasperated by Sai's lack of empathy and his ridicule of Sasuke, but resolves to work with Sai if it means saving Sasuke. Yamato disguises himself as Sasori and goes to the Tenchi bridge to meet the spy, while Naruto, Sakura, and Sai hide nearby. The spy, Kabuto Yakashi, begins telling Yamato about Orochimaru's organization, but they're interrupted by the arrival of Orochimaru, who teams up with Kabuto to fight Yamato, having intended to kill Sasori. Team 7 comes to his aid, and Orochimaru, recognizing them, taunts Naruto about Sasuke. Naruto is enraged and strikes him, using his version 1 form to make his attacks more devastating. Naruto's rage intensifies as he submits to the Nine-Tails' influence. He destroys the Tenchi bridge and eventually advances to his version 2 form while fighting Orochimaru. Naruto is soon forced back to the destroyed bridge, where, unable to tell friend from foe, he unknowingly attacks Sakura when she approaches him. Yamato restrains Naruto with his wood release and suppresses the Nine-Tails' influence, but its chakra leaves Naruto's body badly damaged. After Sakura heals him, Naruto wakes up unable to remember what happened, but is surprised by the devastated landscape. When they realize that Sai is missing, Yamato reports that he's joined with Orochimaru and Kabuto. On the way, Yamato secretly takes Naruto aside and tells him that he is the one who attacked Sakura. He encourages Naruto to use his own strength instead of the Nine-Tails in order to protect his loved ones. The team locates Sai, whom Yamato has placed a trace on, at Orochimaru's lair and capture him. Restrained, Sai asks why Naruto is determined to save him. Naruto replies that his bond with Sasuke is too precious to be broken and that he'll do anything to protect it. Intrigued, Sai switches sides, helping them capture Kabuto and then searching the base for Sasuke on Naruto's behalf. While he's gone, Yamato goes through his belongings and finds evidence that Sai has been assigned to assassinate Sasuke. When they find Sai, he explains that he truly does want to help retrieve Sasuke, and in fact has already found him. Naruto and Sakura are speechless to see Sasuke again. Sasuke reacts with indifference to them, but Naruto remarks that he can't become Hokage without saving his friend. To demonstrate that they mean nothing to him, Sasuke quickly neutralizes them all. As Naruto struggles to avoid the temptation of using the Nine-Tails, Sasuke suddenly appears in Naruto's subconscious using his Sharingan and suppresses the Nine-Tails. He then prepares to kill them, but is persuaded not to by Orochimaru, and leaves without further comment. Naruto is upset at having failed once more to bring Sasuke home, but is reminded by Sakura that they need to become stronger, and Team 7 returns to Konoha. Akatsuki's Suppression Mission. Once Kakashi is done recuperating in the hospital, he assembles Naruto, Sakura, and Sai to discuss their failed mission to retrieve Sasuke. Kakashi believes that the best way to match Sasuke is for Naruto to create a new jutsu. As the training began, Naruto discovers that his nature is wind and learns to use the wind nature. Ordinarily, such training would take months or years, but Kakashi advises that Naruto, by training alongside hundreds of shadow clones, can do the same training in a mere fraction of the time. After some struggling, Naruto approaches Asuma, who is also a wind type, for advice. With Kakashi's instructions and the training grounds created by Yamato, Naruto quickly masters how to use the wind nature. The next step is more difficult for him, combining that nature with the Rasengan. Like Kakashi and Minato Namikaze before him, Naruto fails several times in trying to combine his nature with the Rasengan. His frustration evokes the Nine-Tails chakra at times, which Yamato suppresses. With further advice from Kakashi, Naruto finds his solution using two shadow clones. One helps him form the Rasengan, and the other adds his wind nature. When they receive news that Asuma died in battle with members of the Akatsuki, they take a break to attend Asuma's funeral. Kakashi leaves Team Yamato in charge of overseeing Naruto's training so he could help Team 10 avenge Asuma. Having finished his jutsu, Naruto and Team Yamato went to provide assistance, arriving in time to save Kakashi and Team 10 from Kakuzu. Naruto engages Kakuzu alone with his newly created wind release Rasen Shuriken, though it dissipates on its first use and Naruto is rescued by Kakashi and Yamato. The technique succeeds on the second time, destroying two of Kakuzu's hearts and putting the last one on the brink of failure. Kakashi finishes off Kakuzu and they return to Konoha. The Rasen Shuriken injures Naruto's arms after use and he's forbidden to use the technique ever again. When they visit Ichiraku Ramen, Naruto has a hard time eating while his arm mends, so Sakura opts to help before the responsibility falls to Sai, then to Kakashi. As they leave afterwards, they are met by Konohamaru, who demonstrates his sexy girl-on-girl technique. Naruto approves, but Sakura is disgusted and violently reprimands him. In the manga, Konohamaru responds with sexy boy-on-boy technique. Sakura approves, but Naruto is disgusted and violently reprimands him. Three Tails appearance. Orochimaru instructed Kabuto Yakushi along with Team Guren to take a young boy named Yukimaru to a lake. Tsunade finds the location of Orochimaru's hideout and sends Kakashi as temporary leader of Team 8 to locate it. Then Tsunade sends Yamato, Sai, and Sakura to help them along with Naruto, who meets them along the way. Team Kakashi and Kurenai follow Guren and discover that the thing they were after was the Three Tails. The guarding group is Yamato, Tenten, Kiba, and Lee, while the fighting group is Naruto, Kakashi, Sai, and Shino. Just when the sealing was almost complete, Yukimaru, angered by the apparent death of Guren, empowered the beast to break free of its restraints. The Three Tails went on a rampage, attacking everyone nearby and crushing Nurari, Kigiri, and Kiho. Its attempts to attack Yukimaru, however, had no effect. It was only through the use of the wind-release toad oil flame bullet that the beast was driven away. The sealing attempt was left to Anbu members, and the remaining Konoha ninja returned home. Tobi and Deidara confronted the beast. It was later sealed in the sealing statue. Itachi Pursuit Mission. News reaches Konoha that Sasuke has killed Orochimaru. Realizing that this is a good opportunity to try again to reunite with Sasuke, Kakashi combines Team 7 and 8 into an 8-man squad with the mission to either find Sasuke or his assumed target, Itachi. When they split up to search, Naruto, because he's a target of Akatsuki, is given a protective escort in the form of Hinata, Yamato, and Bull. Their group encounters Kabuto, who offers them intel on Akatsuki and its members, his thanks to Naruto inspiring him to overcome Orochimaru after absorbing his remains. Kabuto then escapes. Tale of Jiraiya the Gallant. After regrouping and Kiba Inuzuka detects Sasuke's trail, Naruto creates shadow clones to search the area faster, one of which encounters Itachi. Itachi repels Naruto's attacks and insists he only wants to talk. He asks Naruto what Sasuke means to him and what he will do if Sasuke ever moves against Konoha. Naruto replies that he's Sasuke's brother, a better brother than Itachi is, and that if Sasuke ever attacks the village, he will defend it without killing Sasuke. Itachi is happy with this answer and gives Naruto some assistance for this purpose, a special crow that he stores within Naruto's body. Itachi left and Naruto continued his search, eventually finding Sasuke. As they near Sasuke's location, they're intercepted by Tobi of Akatsuki, who prevents them from progressing and who is invulnerable to their attacks. Fated battle between brothers. As the group continually tries to attack Tobi, he dodges the attacks with ease. Naruto tries several times to attack him with his Rasengan, but without success. Tobi attempts to use a hidden jutsu to attack the teams, but fails at it. Eventually, Zetsu comes to tell him about Sasuke and Itachi's fight. Tobi leaves when he receives the news that Sasuke has killed Itachi, and Teams 7 and 8 try to reach Sasuke before he does. Unable to find where Tobi has taken Sasuke, they are forced to return to Konoha. Six Tails Unleashed. Team Yamato are assigned by Tsunade to go and protect Hotaru on her way to Tsuchigumo village. When the team finds the fort, they saw Tonbi, who had been viciously attacked by the 4-man bandits. Sakura stays and heals Tonbi, while Naruto, Sai, and Yamato follow Utakata and Hotaru. Naruto catches up with Utakata and Hotaru, but Utakata attacks Naruto with some of his soap bubble ninjutsu. After Utakata learned they are not attackers, he entrusts the protection of Hotaru to them. When they reach the hidden village, Naruto leaves the village with a suspicious feeling because of the way that the villagers looked at Hotaru. Naruto and his team arrived and managed to loosen one of the water whips holding Utakata. Both parties began to fight, but the leader of the Kirigakure Anbu appeared and discussed the situation with Yamato. As the groups part ways, Hotaru begins hurting from an injury sustained during the earlier altercation. Utakata has Naruto collect medicinal herbs. When Naruto returns, he witnesses what was done to Hotaru's back, where her clan's kinjutsu was put. Utakata voices his absolute disdain for people who selfishly take advantage of people's loyalty, only to treat them as tools. When Tonbi insisted that no true master would do such horrific things without a way to undo them, Utakata wondered if the same was true for his master. Utakata resolved to find Tsurugi again to learn some answers about his late master. Hotaru initially refused the idea to destroy the Kinjutsu, feeling that it would make her grandfather's efforts for nothing, but Utakata made her see that she couldn't restore their clan with such a destructive technique. While willing to accept this decision as a final act, she offered one other possible solution: to search for a man named Shiranami. It was then decided that Naruto would attempt to find the man in 2 days while preparations for removing the Kinjutsu were made. When Naruto Uzumaki sought out Shiranami, the Magaki leader, who believed the latter was an ally, the Magaki group ambushed Naruto and used the Infinite Embrace to drain his chakra. Angered at being deceived, Naruto unleashed the Nine Tails chakra and broke out of the Infinite Embrace. Afterwards, Naruto tracks Shiranami back to Hotaru's village, where it's discovered that Shiranami took control of the villagers with this technique. The villagers attacked Utakata and Naruto, and they were also confronted by the Magaki group. Just before things got worse, the rest of Team Yamato arrived while hunting for Hotaru. Yamato, Sai, and Sakura were fighting the villagers and the Magaki group, while Naruto and Utakata were trying to save Hotaru from Shiranami. In the end, Naruto and Utakata managed to save Hotaru, and Team Yamato parts ways with Hotaru and Utakata. Hotaru and Utakata decide to leave Hotaru's village and travel around while Utakata train Hotaru to make her stronger. Before they begin, Utakata decides that he wants to confront the Kirigakure Anbu unit and tells Hotaru to stay behind. He attempts to make contact but is unable to do so. He soon discovers the mask of one of the Anbu units that was left behind. After discovering the mask, he reaches the conclusion that the Kiri Anbu were killed, and Utakata is confronted by Akatsuki member Pain, who appears to be the one behind the attack. Pain tells him he's here to capture the Six Tails. Utakata puts up a fight, but in the end is captured by Akatsuki. Pain's assault. As Naruto contemplated his meeting with Itachi, he was called to the Hokage residence to hear some somber news. His master Jiraiya was killed by Pain, the leader of Akatsuki. Grief-stricken, Naruto blamed Tsunade and spent the day mourning his teacher's death, depressed that Jiraiya could not see him become Hokage. After being comforted by Iruka and Shikamaru, Naruto helped to decipher Jiraiya's dying message, and eventually they succeed. Understanding that Jiraiya has bought him time for his own fight with Pain, Naruto went to train with the Toads of Mount Myoboku to learn Senjutsu. Naruto trained to harmonize with nature, a process he sped up by using a limited number of shadow clones. He rapidly progressed through the training stages and attained a perfect Sage mode, which Jiraiya was unable to do. News of Pain's assault on Konoha reached them, and they began to mobilize for battle. As Naruto, Fukasaku, Gamaken, Gamahiro, Gamabunta, and Gamakichi were summoned to the center of Konoha, the group was confronted by the Six Paths of Pain, who had just destroyed the village. After destroying the Asura Path before it could attack Tsunade, Naruto told her to make sure everyone left the battle to him. After a brief skirmish with Animal Path, Naruto and the Toads defeated the Animal, Preda, and Human Paths before running out of Senjutsu Chakra. Naruto revealed that he had 2 shadow clones waiting back at Mount Myoboku to revitalize him with natural energy. Naruto went back on the offensive, dispatching the healed Preda and Naraka Path before the Diva Path regained its full power. Pain killed Fukasaku and used the opportunity to capture Naruto, pinning him to the ground. With Naruto restrained, Pain opened up his reasons for Akatsuki, their plan for the tailed beasts, and the peaceful world he wanted to create. Though Naruto rejected his notion that using a weapon to force peace, he could offer no alternative. Before Pain could depart with Naruto, he was attacked by Hinata Hyuga. Declaring her love for Naruto and vowing to protect him, she continued to fight against Pain before she was subdued and critically wounded. Believing Hinata had been killed, an enraged Naruto erupted into his six-tailed form. Resisting the first Hokage's necklace's attempts to quell the transformation and destroying it, the Nine Tails attacked Pain, forcing him out of the village to get close enough to his actual body to use Chibaku Tensei, trapping Naruto within the small satellite. The technique was not enough to stop the Nine Tails, however, as it simply progressed to eight-tailed form to force its way out of the satellite. Meanwhile, within his subconscious, Naruto was tempted by the Nine Tails to open its seal to save him from the pain of not having Pain's answer for peace. However, before Naruto could, Minato appeared, having left some chakra within the seal in case of an emergency to protect his son. Overjoyed at meeting his father, but angered that he would condemn him to a life as a Jinchūriki, Naruto listened to his father, encouraging him, confident that he would find a way to break the cycle of hatred. After repairing the seal, Minato disappeared, and the newly inspired Naruto prepared to resume his battle with Pain. Confidence restored, Naruto was greatly relieved to learn that not only had Hinata survived, but nobody was injured during his rampage. After clever use of shadow clones, Naruto destroyed the Diva Path with a Rasengan, defeating the last of Pain's 6 paths. Using one of Pain's black receivers, Naruto followed the chakra signal to Nagato and Konin's position. Confronting Nagato, Naruto listened to Nagato's story that turned him into Pain, and came to understand why he made the actions he did. Despite not forgiving him, he told Nagato that he would not kill him, and he would instead try to create a better world that their teacher wished for. Moved by Naruto's determination to create a better world, Nagato decided to put his trust in Naruto and sacrifice his own life to revive all the people he had killed in Konoha. Naruto helped Konin retrieve Nagato and Yahiko's body for burial in Amagakure, and Konin left Naruto a bouquet of paper flowers, symbolizing their new alliance. Naruto then created a memorial for Jiraiya and left the flowers and a copy of the Tale of the Utterly Gutsy Shinobi by a rock with the kanji for teacher, Shi. While the exhausted Naruto walked back to the village, he was found by Kakashi, who carried him the rest of the way. Upon arrival, Naruto was greeted as a hero by the villagers, his dream of acknowledgement being realized at last. 5 Kage Summit. Sakura informs Naruto that Tsunade fell into a coma and there's nothing they can do to bring her out of it. While they talk, they are approached by Tazuna and Inari, who have come to help rebuild Konoha. They ask about Sasuke, which Naruto avoids going into detail about as so to spare them and Sakura a discussion about Sasuke's defection. After Tazuna and Inari leave, they receive news that Danzo Shimura has become the next Hokage and that he has ordered Sasuke to be killed as a traitor. Naruto and Sakura approach Sai to ask him how they can convince Danzo to change his mind, but Sai is unable to help. Omoi and Karui of Kumogakure overhear them talking about Sasuke and they ask for information about him, wishing to kill him for his role in Akatsuki's capture of Killer Bee. Naruto leads Omoi and Karui away to spare Sakura pain, but refuses to reveal anything about Sasuke. Instead, Naruto allows the Kumo Nin to vent their anger by beating him, to which Karui obliges until Sai stops her and the Kumo Nin retreat. Recovering later, Naruto asked Yamato and Kakashi to take him to the Land of Iron, so that he could ask the Fourth Raikage to pardon Sasuke. Upon arrival, the Raikage rejected Naruto's request even with Kakashi and Yamato's assistance, and berated him for defending a criminal. Naruto went to a local inn to ponder his next course of action, but was soon confronted by Tobi, who wanted to understand Nagato's change of heart. Naruto ignored the question and demanded to know his plans about Sasuke. Tobi told him about the Sage of the Six Paths, the Uchiha clan, and the truth about the Uchiha clan downfall, all of which now drove Sasuke along a path of vengeance against Konoha and anyone else who would dare cross his path. Naruto insisted that he could still get through to Sasuke, but Tobi laughed and left, saying Naruto and Sasuke were fated to fight again. While Naruto was practicing his Sage Mode's sensory abilities to locate Sasuke, he was interrupted by the arrival of Sakura, Rock Lee, Kiba, and Sai. Sakura attempted to dissuade Naruto in his attempts to bring Sasuke back to Konoha by falsely telling him that she loved him. However, Naruto knew she was lying and he rejected her confession and her proposal to abandon Sasuke, stating it had nothing to do with his promise to her. After Sakura's party left, Sai's ink clone revealed that the rest of the Konoha 11 had decided to kill Sasuke themselves to prevent another war, while Sakura planned to kill Sasuke herself at Sai's unintended insistence. Gaara, who attended the Five Kage summit that Sasuke attacked, arrived and revealed Tobi's declaration of the Fourth Shinobi World War, telling Naruto how they would be fighting Sasuke to protect Naruto, but he did advise Naruto to consider for himself what was the right thing to do. After hearing that most of his friends have turned against Sasuke, who now wanted to unleash his vengeance on just about everyone, Naruto hyperventilated and passed out. When he awoke, he was told by Yamato that Kakashi went to stop Sakura from dealing with Sasuke. Using a shadow clone as a decoy, Naruto escaped from the inn and followed Kakashi, arriving just in time to save Sakura from being killed by Sasuke. He tried once more to reason with Sasuke, sympathizing with his pain and acknowledging Itachi's sacrifice. However, Sasuke was unmoved and declared his resolve to destroy Konoha and sever the Uchiha's connection to the shinobi world. Naruto then clashed his Rasengan with Sasuke's Chidori, realizing that everything in his life he could have easily gone down the same path as Sasuke. Despite his jealousy of him, he had come to like Sasuke and was glad to have met him. Undeterred, Sasuke gave Naruto two options, kill or be killed. Naruto chose neither. Tobi and Zetsu arrived and prepared to depart with Sasuke. Naruto resolved that if he and Sasuke were to battle again, they would kill each other. But he was willing to accept it as he would shoulder Sasuke's hatred alone. Sasuke vowed to kill Naruto first and left with Tobi and Zetsu, while Naruto and his teammates returned to Konoha with the captive Karin. Naruto explained the situation to his friends and asked to fight Sasuke alone, determined to get stronger for their upcoming battle. Power. The reborn Team Kakashi is sent out on a mission by Tsunade to a location known as The Hole to investigate an incident where Tonika village's people had been killed. Elsewhere, Sakura and Naruto, who are at the hole's water spring, encounter Kabuto Yakushi, who uses tiny, specially created snakes to create a clone of Hidan using his DNA and the water in the hole, which possesses special properties. Kabuto then reveals that he has reincarnated several shinobi. A fight ensues between the two sides as Yamato and Sai rejoin their teammates. As Team Kakashi continues to battle Kabuto, Hidan, and the reincarnated shinobi, Naruto gets swallowed by a giant snake created by Kabuto, but manages to escape using shadow clones, accidentally ingesting Kabuto's clone snakes in the process. When Naruto resurfaces, Kabuto retreats, using the reincarnated Deidara as a diversion, while revealing a village guard's corpse in the mouth of a snake. After the attack, Naruto and Sakura join up with Shizuru, Yamato, and Sai in going with the rest of the guards. While Yamato and Sai investigate Kabuto's motive for destroying the village, Sakura and Naruto follow Shizuru to Doku's house. Plagued by vivid images all day, Mina approaches Naruto and begins repeatedly saying, "Get out." Later, Disonasu visits their home, and to everyone's surprise, the Tonika village head is with him. However, Mina alerts everyone to the fact that there had been something strange about her grandfather, and it's revealed that he had been reincarnated. As a fight subsequently breaks out when Kabuto makes an appearance, Naruto begins writhing in pain. Rushing towards him, Mina once again begins shouting, "Get out!" eventually forcing the tiny snakes out of his body. The snakes then form a clone of Naruto in his four-tailed version 2 state. The nine-tailed Naruto clone tries to attack Doku and the orphans, when Might Guy and Rock Lee arrive to repel it. The rest of the Konoha 11 arrive. Team Asuma helps Sakura and Kakashi, and Team Kurenai helps Naruto. The beast grabs Naruto to absorb chakra, which the Nine-Tails gladly shares. Hinata tries to defend Naruto, but is sent flying. After the beast absorbs Naruto's chakra, it grows in size and starts to devastate the Hacho village, even firing a tailed beast ball in far away, missing Yamato, Sai, Deidara, and Hidan, who are fighting outside the village. Doku tries to save Naruto, who is still unconscious. While inside the underground hall in the Tonoka village, Naruto, unconscious and strangled by snakes, meets the Nine-Tails again in his subconscious. While the Nine-Tails tries to control Naruto, Doku calls him, but gets shouted instead. Doku asks Naruto what burden a powerful person carries and made Naruto choose the reason why he desires to be powerful. Seeing flashbacks of his comrades of Konoha and also Sasuke, leading the seal inside Naruto to gain strength again. Doku gives Naruto his forehead protector, stating that he believes in him. While inside the hall, Kabuto, along with two reincarnated puppets, approaches with Disanasu, revealed to have engineered Tonoka's destruction. Disanasu also praised Naruto about defeating Pain, the one who scarred him and left him powerless, before kicking the boy repeatedly. Disanasu prepares the summoning of the power by putting the remaining iron bars, while Naruto enters Sage Mode. Naruto faces off with the clone, while Deidara uses explosive clay to create a diversion and chase Naruto. While Naruto relentlessly attacked the clone, he learned that there is more than power. As Yamato restrained Disanasu, he activated the Seizuri, opening the area where Naruto faces the clone, draining the lake as an obelisk rises and creates a storm. Naruto tried to stop Disanasu from ascending the tower, only to face his clone after he absorbed some of the tower's power and transformed into a hydra-tailed fox monster. Absorbing the power within the Ama no Hoko, the nine-tailed Naruto clone mutated into a hydra-tailed version of the Nine-Tails whilst sending Disanasu to his death. Overpowered, Naruto almost gave in to the Nine-Tails' offer for power when Minato's voice urges the boy to control the tailed beast as Naruto is engulfed in a six-tailed chakra cloak in the Nine-Tails' image. Over time, as he starts to lose against the clone, the Nine-Tails starts to take over Naruto's body and assumes a seven-tailed Jinchūriki state while Yamato tries to restrain it. By that time, Mina is able to get through to Naruto, regaining control as he assumed a new form to save Chizuru after telling Doku to go forward and stop the Ama no Hoko. As Doku realizes Mina's melody could stop the Seizuri, he attempts to recall the tune Mina hummed to change the sounds in the Seizuri to deactivate the tower. Naruto uses his new power to destroy his clone as the Ama no Hoko recedes into the ground. The children celebrate with Naruto. Fourth Shinobi World War. Countdown. As Naruto was about to eat at Ichiraku, he was suddenly summoned back to Mount Myoboku by Fukasaku. He learned from the Great Toad Sage's fortune that he would meet an octopus and would battle a young man with powerful eyes. When Gerotora was summoned to give Naruto the key to the 8 trigram seal, Naruto knew he would need the Nine-Tails' power for the battles to come and accepted the key. Naruto was sent back to Ichiraku, where some of the villagers asked for his autograph. Naruto was unaware that the 5 Kage were planning to keep him for participating in the upcoming Fourth Shinobi World War. For his safety, Tsunade gave Naruto an S-rank mission on a remote island in the Land of Lightning with Yamato, Might Guy, Aoba Yamashiro, and other Konoha nin as security. Once on the island, Naruto met Killer B, the Jinchūriki of 8 Tails, and requested to train under him after marveling at B's mastery of his tailed beast. B refused as he was on vacation despite Naruto's best efforts to impress him. However, when Motoi heard Naruto bumped fists with B, he took Naruto to the Falls of Truth, where B trained to control the 8 Tails. Following Motoi's instructions, Naruto sat on the platform in front of the waterfall and closed his eyes to see his true self, Dark Naruto, who berated Naruto on how quickly the Konoha villagers changed their opinions of him and exclaimed that the Nine Tails liked him better. Inside his mind, Naruto fought his dark self, but found that they were evenly matched. Breaking out of the meditation, Naruto questions Motoi about B's history in order to learn about how to conquer his inner darkness. Naruto reminisced about how B and Gaara changed everyone's opinions about them and began to doubt if the Konoha villagers sincerely trusted him. After witnessing B save Motoi from a giant squid and resume their friendship, an inspired Naruto returned to the Falls of Truth and confronted Dark Naruto again. With Naruto now having faith in himself, Dark Naruto began to weaken as he asked for his reason for existing. Naruto answered by hugging him, accepted Dark Naruto as a part of him while thanking him for pushing him to become a better person. Dark Naruto finally relented and faded. B led Naruto and Yamato to a special room in the secret temple behind the waterfall, where Naruto was prepared to fight the Nine Tails for its chakra. Within his subconscious, Naruto unlocked the seal and engaged the Nine Tails in battle using Sage Mode. Though he appeared to have the upper hand and drain the Nine Tails chakra, the fox instantly planted its own hatred within its absorbed chakra, consuming Naruto. Just before Naruto was completely consumed, the spirit of his mother, Kushina Uzumaki, appeared. Naruto believed that Kushina was the Nine-Tails in disguise, earning a hit on the head and an immediate apology from her, who hoped that he did not inherit her short temper. Realizing Kushina was his mother, he tearfully hugged her, and the love-filled reunion purged the Nine-Tails' hatred within his drained chakra. With renewed confidence from hearing the story of his parents, Naruto battled the Nine-Tails once more. With his mother's assistance, Naruto successfully weakens the fox long enough to separate it from its chakra. Attaining the Nine-Tails chakra mode, Naruto imprisons the emaciated and infuriated Nine-Tails within a new, stronger seal, apologizing to it as it faded into darkness. Afterwards, Naruto learned from Kushina about his heritage, the truth behind the Nine-Tails attack on Konoha, and how his parents gave their lives to protect him. Naruto told his mother that he could finally understand what a parent's love felt like, and that he didn't blame them for what happened, instead feeling glad to be their son. As she fades away, Kushina tearfully hugged Naruto, thanking him for letting her and Minato be his parents. In the real world, Naruto demonstrated his Nine-Tails chakra mode to Bee and Yamato before sensing Kisame Hoshigaki of Akatsuki hidden inside his Samehada via his negative emotions. When Kisame attempted to escape, Naruto used his blinding speed to quickly smash him into the wall, though he gets his foot stuck. Yamato helps Naruto out while Bee pursues Kisame, and they regroup to see Kisame's defeat by Guy. Kisame is restrained for interrogation, though he breaks free of his confinements through sheer will and summons sharks inside a water prison to eat him alive. Shocked by Kisame's suicide, Naruto observes that even those in Akatsuki fight for their comrades. They examine the intel that Kisame was trying to send, which turns out to be booby-trapped. They are each caught in a water prison and are trapped alongside a shark. Another shark, meanwhile, is able to escape with Kisame's intel. After they escape, Naruto is tasked with evacuating the giant animals onto the island turtle's shell and logging the island's ecology as part of his official S-rank mission. He remains unaware that it's a ploy to keep him away from the war. Fourth Shinobi World War. Confrontation. Naruto returned to the Falls of Truth with Bee to start practicing his Nine-Tails chakra mode, specifically learning about how to use tailed beast balls. Since the tailed beast balls couldn't be made without Nine-Tails cooperation, Naruto tried to create the tailed beast Rasengan as a workaround. While struggling to balance the jutsu's composition, he sensed a distant source of the Nine-Tails chakra. Naruto left the Falls of Truth to investigate and was met by a contingent of Konoha nin, amongst them Iruka Umino. Iruka tried to convince him to go back to his training, but Naruto bypassed them and, from entering Sage Mode, sensed the ongoing Fourth Shinobi World War. Naruto became angry that they would try to keep the war a secret from him, and they wouldn't let him help. Iruka apologized, yet still made an effort to restrain him. Naruto escaped and found a self-repairing barrier, preventing him from leaving by himself. Bee, at Iruka's request, decided to join him, and together they broke through the barrier. Shortly after, the Nine-Tails pulled Naruto into his subconscious, berating him for squandering its chakra and calling him naive to think he could stop the war by himself. When the Nine-Tails failed once again to tempt Naruto with power, the fox went off to claim that his attempt to put an end to hatred was futile, using his history with Sasuke as proof. Naruto responded by pinning the fox down, refuting that it was the only one who was being naive, and confidently exclaiming that he would find a way to deal with Sasuke and end the war. Before he leaves, Naruto also promises to resolve the Nine-Tails' own hatred someday, unnerving the fox. On their way to the battlefield, Naruto and Bee were met by the Fourth Raikage and Tsunade, both intent on stopping the Jinchūriki. Bee tried to convince the Raikage to let them go, and when that failed, Naruto tried to get around them, but the Raikage's lightning release chakra mode was too fast for that. The Raikage became increasingly aggressive in his determination to stop Naruto and Bee from joining the war effort, going so far as to threaten to kill Naruto if it would keep Akatsuki from capturing the Nine-Tails. First Bee and then Tsunade joined Naruto in arguing to allow them to fight, which the Raikage relented to once Naruto dodges his maximum speed. On Tsunade's orders, Shikaku Nara contacted Naruto and informed him about Akatsuki's White Zetsu army and the accompanying impure world reincarnations. Naruto and Bee soon afterwards encountered a squad of seeming allied forces, but with his Nine-Tails chakra mode ability, it allowed him to detect them as disguised Zetsu. He quickly defeated them and sent shadow clones to various other battlefields to lend assistance. Naruto and Bee soon ran into the reincarnated Itachi Uchiha and Nagato. They greeted Naruto and briefly caught up on what had happened since their deaths, but were quickly forced to attack by their summoner, Kabuto Yakashi. Nagato advised Naruto and Bee on how to counter this jutsu, while Itachi, between his own attacks, recalled the crow that he planted in Naruto during their last meeting. Itachi activated the Koro Amatsukami of the Crow's Mangekyo Sharingan to release himself from Kabuto's influence. Itachi joined Naruto and Bee in fighting Nagato, first by neutralizing the Rinnegan summoning, and then saving them from being killed by Nagato. Nagato, his personality now suppressed, tried capturing them with Chibaku Tensei, which the three combined efforts to destroy. While Nagato was distracted by their attack, Itachi sealed him with Susanoo. His personality restored, Nagato used his last moments to apologize and put his faith in Naruto. Afterwards, Itachi destroyed the crow, its Konoha Tsukame too valuable to let fall into the wrong hands. He left to find Kabuto so he could end the impure world reincarnation, but not before telling Naruto to let his friends support him and leaving Sasuke's reform to him. A shadow clone arrived at the site of the 4th Division's battle with various reincarnated Kage. Naruto was able to land a sneak attack on Mu, allowing the 3rd Tsuchikage to seal him before he could say anything. The Tsuchikage went to help Gaara fight the 2nd Mizukage, leaving Naruto and the 3rd Raikage along with the other members of the 4th Division. Like the 4th Raikage, the 3rd was very fast, easily dodging most attacks. The few attacks that did land had almost no effect. His body's natural defense was too high, and the Raikage's offenses allowed him to break through every attempt to contain him. When Naruto noticed that the Raikage had a scar from his fight with the 8 Tails years earlier, he contacted it via B to ask how the Raikage received the scar. Upon hearing the 8 Tails answer, Naruto surmises that the scar was self-inflicted, confirming it as he manipulates the 3rd into piercing his own body. The 3rd is sealed, and Naruto regroups with the Tsuchikage and Gaara, who had already defeated the 2nd Mizukage. As Naruto and B continued onwards, Naruto's shadow clones started arriving at various locations. Fourth Shinobi World War. Climax. Shadow clones arrived at all the remaining battlefields, securing impure world reincarnations, weeding out the Zetsu that had infiltrated the Alliance's ranks, and defeating any other remaining Zetsu. Victory seemed near when the Censor Division detected a new threat near the 4th Division, Mu, who split himself before his sealing, and the reincarnated Madara Uchiha. Shocked by this revelation, they all wondered who the masked man Tobi really was. Madara gave them little time to discuss it and attacked them immediately. He cut swaths through the 4th Division's ranks and used his Rinnegan to avoid the clones, the Tsuchikages, and Gaara's counterattack. Wishing to eliminate them all at once, Madara dropped a meteorite on them. While the survivors regrouped, Madara tried to summon the Nine Tails. Although it failed, the fox sensed the attempt and offered some chakra to help fight Madara, preferring Naruto over the Uchiha. The Shadow Clone used the Nine Tails chakra to counter Madara's nativity of a world of trees with big balls spiraling serial zone spheres, though the extended fighting left the clone exhausted afterwards. Madara moved in to capture it, but was parried by the arrival of Tsunade, the 4th Raikage, and the 5th Mizukage. The 5 Kage vowed to deal with Madara themselves and asked that Naruto should instead focus on defeating Tobi. The clone dispersed just as the real Naruto converged on Tobi. Naruto and B clashed with Tobi's reincarnated Jinchūriki, styled like a 6 Paths of Pain. During the fighting, Naruto referenced another Madara and asked who Tobi really was. Realizing his lie was exposed, Tobi refused to accept any particular identity, believing it to be irrelevant. Naruto was not satisfied with this answer and vowed to break Tobi's mask. B entered Tailed Beast mode to clear the surrounding forest that was giving him and Naruto a disadvantage against the reincarnated Jinchūriki. He then tried to seal the Jinchūriki, but Tobi had them enter version 2 forms to escape at the last second. The increased strength of the Jinchūriki caused difficulties for Naruto and B. Tobi, taking advantage of the situation, nearly captured Naruto, but was blocked by the arrival of Kakashi and Guy. Their arrival balanced out the two sides, so Tobi had the 4 Tails and 6 Tails enter Tailed Beast modes as well. The 4 Tails captured Naruto in his mouth, allowing it to communicate with him. The 4 Tails, introducing itself with the name of Son Goku, was angered to be controlled by Tobi, but it doubted Naruto would be any better since humans had always sought to control it and its fellow tailed beasts. Naruto insisted he was different, and Son Goku, touched by his desire to help it, told him how to release it from Tobi's control. Naruto managed to break out of its mouth, locate the black receiver, and remove it. Son Goku thanked Naruto for his help, but explained that it couldn't actually be saved, as it was still bound to the demonic statue of the Outer Path. Before it was pulled back into the demonic statue, Son Goku gave some of its chakra to Naruto and wished him luck. Tobi, having lost the use of one tailed beast, forced the others to enter tailed beast mode so the battle could be brought to an end. The Nine Tails remarked that Naruto couldn't possibly win without its help. Naruto stated that he was not up for taking its chakra by force at the moment, and that he would figure something out. However, Naruto's earlier determination to help Son Goku moved the Nine Tails, reminding it of the many selfless things Naruto had done during his life and the perseverance he always displayed. The Nine Tails no longer wanted to oppose Naruto and instead offered to join him as a partner, asking only that Naruto call it by its name, Kurama. Naruto entered his own Tailed Beast mode and went to save Kakashi and Guy, deflecting the other 5 beasts' Tailed Beast Balls. The Kurama avatar fought the beasts in close combat, forcing them to combine their Tailed Beast Balls into one against it. Kurama countered theirs with a single one of its own Tailed Beast Balls, and Naruto then used the avatar's tails to grab and remove the beast's black receivers. From the contact, Naruto was able to interface with the other beasts. who introduced themselves and, like Son Goku, gave him portions of their chakra. Toby recalled the beasts back into the demonic statue and, though irritated, remained confident in his eventual victory as he faced off with Naruto, Bee, Kakashi, and Guy. By the time night fell, however, Toby was still unable to defeat them. A light eventually descended on the reincarnated Jinchūriki that Bee had kept restrained, allowing them to return to the afterlife and signaling that Itachi had finally defeated Kabuto. With his options running out, Toby deposited the Beni Hisago and the Kohaku no Johei, which contained portions of Kurama's chakra, into the demonic statue, which, combined with a fragment of the Eight Tails, Gyuki's chakra he had acquired previously, was enough to start the revival of the Ten Tails. Naruto, Bee, Kakashi, and Guy started focusing on destroying it, but were constantly stopped by Toby and his peculiar teleportation and intangibility abilities. From the fighting, however, Kakashi noticed that Toby's abilities were seemingly linked to his own Kamui. To take advantage of this, Kakashi had one of Naruto's shadow clones attack Toby, and just as the clone was about to be destroyed by one of Toby's attacks, Kakashi used Kamui on it without Toby noticing. Naruto then attacked with a tailed beast ball, which Toby escaped by retreating to Kamui's dimension. He found the clone waiting for him there, and it destroyed his mask with a Rasengan. When they saw his face, Guy and Kakashi recognized Toby as their childhood friend, Obito Uchiha, whom they'd long thought dead. Obito declined to explain his actions to them and instead attacked, which attracted Madara, who escaped the release of the impure world reincarnation to their location. Seeing Madara, Naruto asked what happened to the Kage, to which the elder Uchiha replied that they were in bad condition when he left them. From that, and the conversation he overheard between Madara and Obito, particularly their manipulation of Nagato, Naruto attacked in a rage. Madara reflected him and then tried to capture him and Bee so that the Ten Tails could be revived in its complete form. Naruto split his attention. He and Bee fighting Madara's Wood Dragon with their tailed beast modes, and one of his shadow clones trying to help Kakashi get over the revelation that Obito was alive. Obito tried to convince Naruto of the futility of resistance. Naruto insisted that protecting his comrades was always worthwhile, no matter how hopeless things may seem. His words brought Kakashi out of his slump, enabling him to start fighting Obito on his own, and energized Guy, who created an opening for Naruto and Bee to attack the demonic statue with a combined tailed beast ball. The attack came too late, however, and the Ten Tails was revived. Naruto, Bee, Kakashi, and Guy regrouped and coordinated an attack, but the Ten Tails was too powerful, and Madara and Obito, once they linked themselves to it, were able to deploy its powers effectively. Just before they could kill Naruto and the others, the combined remaining allied shinobi forces arrived to help. Shikaku Nara, communicating to all of them from the Alliance's headquarters, staged an offensive to restrain the Ten Tails. Although it failed, it was effective enough that Madara and Obito had the Ten Tails destroy the distant headquarters, killing Shikaku and everyone else stationed there. The allies made individual attacks against the Ten Tails, but none had any effect. At the same time, the Ten Tails started raining wooden skewers all over the battlefield, killing many. When one was about to hit Naruto, Hinata shielded him with her body, and Neji shielded her with his own. Dying, Neji collapsed on Naruto's shoulder, asking him to be more careful in the future, since many lives, Hinata's particularly, now depend on his. With his last breath, he thanked Naruto for calling him a genius all those years ago. Naruto was deeply distraught by Neji's death, which Obito tried to use as an example of the needless death that the resistance caused, and that could be solved in the new world he wanted to create. Hinata brought Naruto back to his senses by reminding him of all the people who had given their lives to protect him and whose memories he could be insulting if he had given up now. As Naruto thanked her, he took her hand and coated her with some of Kurama's chakra. Naruto shared Kurama's chakra throughout the allied forces, increasing their strength and protecting them from harm. They all maneuvered into a formation that Shikaku was able to communicate to them before he died, and then, taking the form of a bird in memory of Neji, successfully removed the Ten Tails from Obito and Madara's control. Forced to fend for themselves, Obito sought out Naruto, criticizing him for wasting his energy protecting others. Naruto replied that protecting them actually gave him strength, motivating everyone within earshot. They then sensed the Ten Tails was about to attack, which Kakashi tried to stop with Kamui. Obito intercepted him and they teleported away, leaving the others to endure the Ten Tails Tenpenchi. Kurama's chakra protected everyone, but it faded in the aftermath. Naruto was left quite beaten up, requiring Sakura to heal him. When the Ten Tails attacked with another tailed beast ball, the allies mustered what little defense they could. Before it could reach them, however, the tailed beast ball was suddenly teleported away and Naruto's reincarnated father, Minato Namikaze, appeared at Naruto's side. The first, second, and third Hokage arrived soon afterward, and, along with Minato, erected a barrier around the Ten Tails to confine it. Sasuke arrived shortly after too, at whose request the previous Hokage were reincarnated by Orochimaru, and who now opposed Obito and Madara. Their fellow Rookie 9 had set aside their differences with Sasuke for the time being, and joined forces in launching an attack against the Ten Tails. On Sai's advice, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura all summoned their signature animals, Naruto calling on Gamakichi, in order to focus directly on the Ten Tails itself. Naruto and Sasuke successfully damaged the Ten Tails' arm with a combined Scorch Release, Halo Hurricane Jet Black Arrow Style 0, but it merely removed its arm to prevent the flames of Sasuke's Amaterasu from spreading. Before they could attack again, Obito returned, landing on top of the Ten Tails' head and seemingly about to use the Samsara of Heavenly Life technique to restore Madara to life. While everybody focused on stopping Obito, Naruto couldn't help but notice the hand sails he was using were different than what Nagato used. Minato tried to cut Obito down, but discovered that it was too late as he sealed the Ten Tails into his body, becoming its Jinchūriki. Birth of the Ten Tails Jinchūriki. Obito used his new power to destroy the barrier, forcing the Hokage to put the energy they were using towards the barrier to the fight instead. Because they had immortal bodies, they launched the first attack so the others could learn what they could about Obito's new abilities, but they were quickly defeated. Naruto and Sasuke engaged him as well, but were nearly killed, saved only by Naruto using his chakra arms to link to Minato so he could teleport them to safety. Just as before, Naruto and Sasuke combined their attacks, having Minato and the second Hokage coordinate teleport so the attack could connect. Obito's truth-seeking balls dissipated much of the attack, and the damage he did incur was quickly regenerated. From the development and some of the previous exchanges, Minato concluded that Obito was able to neutralize ninjutsu. Gamakichi, wanting to make some final contribution to the fight before he was forced to return to Mount Myoboku, attacked with his starch syrup gun. Minato took this opportunity to try and reason with Obito, reminding him of his former dream to become Hokage. Obito berated the title and those who had held it, as he had surpassed them. Naruto was insulted not only because this was a slight against his father, but also because he hadn't abandoned his dream of being Hokage like Obito did. The second Hokage teleported him to Obito and he attacked with a Rasengan, which successfully damaged Obito. Naruto noticed that Gamakichi's attack wasn't neutralized and realized that he was vulnerable to Senjutsu. With a weakness discovered, Obito trapped the alliance in a barrier and began charging multiple-tailed beast balls that he would use to wipe away everyone within its confines. Minato noted that he wouldn't be able to teleport them all the way in time, so Naruto came up with a different approach. He linked his chakra with Minato and remotely restored the alliance's chakra cloaks, networking everyone in with Minato's flying Thunder God technique, allowing him to teleport everyone out of the barrier. Minato did so and was afterwards very proud of his son, saying he wished they had more time to talk. Naruto replied that it was not necessary since he already met his mother and that she explained everything. Naruto and Minato each entered Tailed Beast modes, with Naruto merging his with Sage mode in order to imbue their shared Rasengan with Senjutsu. The second teleported them to Obito and they attacked, but he blocked it with his truth-seeking balls. To move ahead with his plans, Obito created a replica of the God Tree, the first step in performing the Infinite Tsukiyomi. The tree started absorbing chakra from those nearby until they die, a fate that Naruto nearly succumbed to until he was saved by the third Hokage. Obito pointed to the growing number of casualties as further evidence that Naruto should stop resisting, an argument that Naruto was increasingly having trouble ignoring. Sasuke, unmoved by Obito's words, used Susanoo to hack through the tree and then mocked Naruto for giving up. Naruto was reminded of his desire not to lose Sasuke or anyone else for that matter and, reinvigorated, joined Sasuke in the offensive. Although their Senjutsu-enhanced Tailed Beast mode and Susanoo could compete with Obito, they were individually unable to defeat him. Obito continued trying to convince Naruto to stop, but he ignored him. Sasuke then coded his Susanoo around Naruto's Tailed Beast mode, granting the Kurama avatar a sword and armor. Sensing that it was the final exchange, Obito created a sword and shield out of his own truth-seeking balls. Naruto created a Rasengan in each of the Kurama avatar's tails, which his friends from Konoha guided in a coordinated assault to Obito's shield, destroying it. As soon as Naruto and Sasuke sliced through Obito with their sword, the tailed beasts then began to emerge from the Uchiha's body, giving Naruto and the combined allied shinobi forces the opportunity to pull them out. The tug of war for the tailed beasts linked Naruto's consciousness with Obito's. Naruto reminded Obito of his earlier claim that he was nobody and set out to prove to him that he was Obito Uchiha, specifically the Obito Uchiha that Kakashi used to know. Naruto pointed out their similarities, how both were orphans, and that because of that they wanted to be Hokage. Obito agreed that they were similar, but that was the reason that he was trying so hard to convince Naruto that he was right, and insisted that the world he wanted to create was a better one because his vision of the future was clear, whereas the future of the current world was ambiguous. Naruto argued that was the point, and that uncertainty, when faced with comrades, was worthwhile, and offered Obito his hand so they might see what happened together. The allies successfully removed the tailed beasts from Obito and he fell to the ground, defeated. Minato and Kakashi insisted that Obito be left to them while Naruto and the rest of the alliance should focus on Madara. They did so, joining forces with the first Hokage against him, but right before he could seal them, Madara put one final failsafe into effect. He had Black Zetsu force Obito to revive him. Madara quickly neutralized the first, fended off Naruto, Sasuke, and Sai, and then went after the free-tailed beasts. Naruto entered Tailed Beast mode and assisted them with fighting him off. They were initially successful, but when Madara reacquired one of his Rinnegan, he easily defeated them with Limbo, Border Jail, sealing them all back into the demonic statue, including B's Gyuki and Naruto's Kurama. The removal of Kurama from his body caused Naruto to pass out and placed his life in immediate danger. His Uzumaki heritage prevented him from dying instantly, but he required constant medical attention from Sakura in order to keep him alive. On the advice of Kurama right before it was extracted, Gaara took Naruto to Minato so that Minato's portion of Kurama's chakra could be sealed into him, saving him. Kakashi sent Naruto and Sakura to Kamui's dimension so that she could continue performing life support without interruption. Obito soon arrived to help her, having overcome both Black Zetsu and Madara in order to acquire Minato's half of Kurama and give it to Naruto, as his form of penance. While on the border of life and death, Naruto was met by the Sage of Six Paths, Hagoromo Otsutsuki. He explained his past conflicts with his mother, Kage Otsutsuki, and the conflicts that emerged between his sons, Asura and Indra. His sons' conflict had continued through the centuries, with their chakra reincarnated every generation in new individuals to fight anew. Naruto was the current reincarnation of Asura, while Sasuke was the reincarnation of Indra. Naruto was not greatly surprised, having sensed something like that when he met Sasuke during the Five Kage Summit. Because of Madara's aims for the world, Hagoromo asked if he and Sasuke could join forces to stop him, a task he was only encouraged by from the Tailed Beast's positive words concerning Naruto. He gave Naruto the Six Paths Yang power, half his chakra, and the Six Paths Sage mode to help him in his goal. When Naruto woke up, he had Obito send him back to the real world. There, he stopped Madara from killing Might Guy and used Hagoromo's power to stabilize Guy's life force from using the 8 Gates released formation. Surprised by Naruto's sudden increase in power, Madara was hit by Naruto's Sage Art Lava Release Rasen Shuriken, which was fueled by Son Goku's chakra and instantly cut down the giant tree Obito created earlier. When Sasuke arrived, Naruto entered Six Paths Sage mode and they started overwhelming Madara. Realizing his window was closing, Madara went after Kakashi and took his Mangekyo Sharingan, using it to follow Obito. Sasuke appeared shortly afterwards, sent by Obito so Madara wouldn't kill her. She could do nothing about Kakashi's eye, so Naruto used Hagoromo's power to restore the one he lost years earlier. Madara soon returned, having both his Rinnegan and Black Zetsu in control of Obito's body. Naruto and Sasuke immediately resumed their attack, but Madara had an easier time with them. He rose into the sky, raining Chibaku Tensei on them to keep them busy while he projected the infinite Tsukiyomi on the world. While Naruto destroyed the remaining satellite-like constructs, Sasuke shielded him, Sakura, and Kakashi with Susanoo from the infinite Tsukiyomi's gaze. He let them out once the illusion was finished casting, and they emerged to find themselves alone, with the rest of the world being wrapped into Madara's god, nativity of a world of trees. As Madara confronted them and started explaining how he had saved the world, he was stabbed in the back by Black Zetsu. Black Zetsu then transferred to Madara's body from Obito's and forced him to absorb the world's chakra, converting him into a woman that Naruto and Sasuke recognized as Kaguya Otsutsuki. Kaguya Otsutsuki strikes. Kaguya detected that Naruto and Sasuke, as the reincarnations of Asura and Indra, and also that her son Hagoromo had given them the power to defeat her. Not wanting to further the damage to the world that their fighting would cause, she shifted them all to one of her dimensions, placing them above a sea of lava. Sasuke summoned his hawk, Garuda, to save himself and Naruto, but ignored Naruto's pleas to save Sakura, Kakashi, and Obito too, since only he and Naruto were vital to the fight. Kakashi was able to briefly stop their fall, but the heat burned up the scroll he used to save them, and it was only Naruto's sudden discovery that he was able to levitate that saved them from the lava. He left a shadow clone to hold on to them and then engaged Kaguya, creating an opening for Sasuke to attack. Sasuke's attack failed, and Naruto must save him from the lava. With their attacks ineffective and the environment such a hazard, Naruto and Sasuke discussed what to do. Kaguya appeared behind them and paralyzed them, binding them with Black Zetsu while she started absorbing their chakra. Black Zetsu took the opportunity to expand on the history earlier given by Hagoromo, painting Kaguya as the victim of her sons, Hagoromo and Hamura. Black Zetsu had for centuries been manipulating others towards the outcome of reviving her, and only then had it finally succeeded. It encouraged them to bask in the embrace of their oblivion, but Naruto refused, breaking himself free with Sasuke. Needing to take drastic action, Naruto used his ultimate jutsu, Sexy Reverse Harem Technique. Kaguya was so distracted that she was nearly sealed, but she recomposed herself in time to shift dimensions again, freezing Naruto and Sasuke in place. Because Naruto and Sasuke were only a threat to her when together, Kaguya sent Sasuke to a different dimension while she focused on Naruto. While Kaguya manipulated the ice dimension against him, his shadow clone explained to Kakashi, Sakura, and the now awake Obito that his and Sasuke's powers were both necessary to defeat her. Obito offered to use his Kamui to try and explore Kaguya's dimensions to find Sasuke. To give Obito an opening, Naruto used Naruto Region Combo to overwhelm Kaguya, forcing her to retreat to another dimension to get her bearings. When she did so, Obito infiltrated the dimension Kaguya went to with Sakura and the Shadow Clone. The Shadow Clone faced her so she wouldn't notice them while they looked for Sasuke. Kaguya returned to the ice dimension and resumed her fight with the army of Naruto's clones. This kept her preoccupied until Obito returned with Sasuke. Increasingly frustrated, Kaguya shifted them to another dimension with powerful gravity to immobilize Naruto and Sasuke while she attacked with her all-killing ash bones. Kakashi and Obito used themselves to shield the attack, with Obito then using Kamui to protect Kakashi, leaving Obito unable to defend himself. Naruto tried to heal the damage to his body, but even Hagoromo's power couldn't save him. While Sasuke fought Kaguya, Obito thanked Naruto for reminding him of who he was and made him promise to become Hokage for both their sakes. Naruto agreed, and Obito's body crumbled. Black Zetsu ridiculed Obito for living an insignificant life and dying an insignificant death. Enraged, Naruto severed Kaguya's arm, in the sleeve of which Black Zetsu had been hiding, and then pinned it to the ground with his truth-seeking balls. Naruto and his shadow clones attacked Kaguya with Sage Art, Super Tailed Beast Rasen Shuriken. On impact, the Tailed Beast's chakra within her began reacting, and Kaguya started losing control of her form. She was able to reconfigure herself and prepared an expansive truth-seeking ball to destroy them. Kakashi interfered using Susanoo, a last gift from Obito, to make an opening for Naruto and Sasuke. She tried to escape, but Sakura punched her to keep her in place, allowing Naruto and Sasuke to trigger 6 paths, Chibaku Tensei. The tailed beasts were removed from her, Madara was spat out, and she was entombed in her own dimension. Not wanting Black Zetsu to scheme for her release again, Naruto made a point to trap it with her, but not before telling it that a spoiled brat like it has no right to compare itself with the men and women who truly shaped shinobi history. Team 7 wondered how they would return to their world. Sensing their need, Hagoromo combined the efforts of the dead Kage to summon them, the tailed beasts, and Madara back. Hagoromo thanked them for saving the world, as did the tailed beasts for saving them. Naruto happily greeted his original Kurama, asking if it missed him, to which the flustered fox denied. After Madara died from his ordeal, Naruto met with Minato, who as day broke, wished him a happy 17th birthday. As Hagoromo returned Minato's and the souls of the other dead Kage to the Pure Land, Minato voiced his pride in Naruto and promised to tell Kushina everything about him. The other Kage also gave words of parting, which Naruto tearfully accepted. With all threats gone, Hagoromo explained that the Infinite Tsukiyomi would be released if Naruto and Sasuke combined their chakra. Sasuke agreed to this, but first he wanted to kill the Kage and destroy the tailed beasts, believing both were inhibitive to world peace. When he was unwilling to back down from his threat, the tailed beasts moved in to stop Sasuke, but he captured each in their own Chibaku Tensei. Hagoromo recognized that as a continuation of Indra's feud with Asura, but lacked time and power to do anything about it. Sakura tried to reason with Sasuke, but he knocked her out and left. Naruto followed after him, promising to Hagoromo that he would bring him around finally and end the centuries-long feud. Naruto and Sasuke end up at the Valley of the End, where they fought years ago. Sasuke stated his willingness to bear the world's burdens by himself and live independently of the past, neither of which Naruto believed were possible, or at least wise. He tells Sasuke it's impossible to do everything alone like he plans to, pointing to the missteps Itachi made and their own successful teamwork against Kaguya. Sasuke replies that he only wants to remake a better world, one where he can, like Itachi before, be solely responsible for the difficult decisions that must be made so nobody else needs to. This is what he believes a true Hokage to be. Naruto insists he will be Hokage, not Sasuke, because Sasuke is still going against what Itachi wanted from him, and they start fighting. After a brief exchange of blows reminiscent of their fight years ago, Naruto and Sasuke started trading punches with their tailed beast mode and Susanoo respectively. Sasuke chastised Naruto for not attacking him with an intent to kill, but Naruto, like last time, was unwilling to do so, not wishing for either of them to go without the other. Naruto then clashed his tailed beast ball with Sasuke's Susanoo-supported Chidori, producing a large explosion that does noticeable but not debilitating damage to their respective avatars. Each therefore powered up their avatars, Sasuke by channeling the captured tailed beasts into his Susanoo, and Naruto by merging his avatar with the avatars of 2 shadow clones. The two met attacks once again, creating a gigantic explosion that stripped away their avatars and left them with too little chakra to use practically. They instead resorted to taijutsu, kicking and punching each other into the night. As the two neared exhaustion, Kurama mustered enough chakra for Naruto to make one last attack, but Sasuke absorbed it. Having expected this, Naruto delivered a solid punch, finally irritating Sasuke over the endless repetition of their fight. Kurama gave the last of its chakra to Naruto, who used it to make a Rasengan to counter Sasuke's Chidori. Both woke up later to find that much of the Valley of the End had been destroyed, and that they had each lost an arm, and that neither could move. Sasuke reflected that Naruto had been a constant obstacle to his goals, but that he was also the only person who had never given up on him. Naruto's usual response that they were friends didn't convince Sasuke, since it obviously went beyond, so Naruto elaborated that he experienced pain if he didn't have Sasuke. Sasuke was awed, knowing full well that Naruto had experienced various misfortunes in his life, smiled through all of them, and yet would suffer without Sasuke. When they woke up the next day, Sasuke admitted defeat for the first time in his life, as he came to accept that Naruto was just as vital to him as he was to Naruto. Kakashi and Sakura eventually tracked them down, and Sakura healed them, though she couldn't do anything about their missing arms. Once they were able to walk, they returned to where the allied shinobi forces were all trapped, dispelled the infinite Tsukiyomi according to Hagoromo's instructions, and Sasuke released the tailed beasts. With the war over, Naruto returns to the village, where he attends a mass funeral for participants of the war. In the anime, while recovering from his injuries, Gaara and Ei approach Naruto and thank him for his effort during the war. Shikamaru later brings Naruto to the academy and meet with Iruka and Kakashi, who are considering on promoting Naruto as a Jonin. However, because he never got to retake the Chūnin Exams, Naruto has to complete 2 years worth of studies, much to his dismay. However, Naruto is cheered up as Iruka offers to help him. Blank period. Months after the war, Sasuke was pardoned for his crimes on the good word of Naruto and Kakashi, who had been selected to become the 6th Hokage. Just before Sasuke left Konoha to wander the world, he was met by Naruto, who returned to him his forehead protector. Kakashi Hiden, lightning in the icy sky. Nearly a year after the end of the Fourth Shinobi World War, Naruto and Sai were sent to the Land of Waves to capture Garyo, leader of the Ryuha Armament Alliance. Once they located the Alliance's hideout, Naruto launched an assault with multiple shadow clones. Although he was still missing an arm, he had learned how to perform one-handed hand seals. He easily dealt with most of the Alliance's members, but was briefly stalled by the ice release of Garyo's bodyguard. Naruto distracted the bodyguard with a shadow clone for long enough to apprehend Garyo. At some point within the next 2 months, Naruto received a prosthetic arm to replace the one he lost during the war. While eating at Ramen Ichiraku one day, he saw Kakashi walking by and asked him when he would officially take on the responsibilities of Hokage. He tried to convince Kakashi by listing the many shortcomings of Tsunade, unaware that she was standing right behind him. She angrily knocked Naruto unconscious. Kakashi finally accepted the Hokage position shortly after the mission involving the Ryuha Armament Alliance and the Blood Prison. Shikamaru Hiden, a cloud drifting in silent darkness. Naruto ran into Shikamaru early one morning, and they discussed their heavy workloads for the Shinobi Union. Since Naruto's assignments were given to him by Shikamaru, he took the opportunity to complain. Shikamaru explained that Naruto, a prime candidate for an eventual Hokage position, needed to get used to it. Naruto later discussed what Shikamaru had said with Sakura, having sensed that there was something Shikamaru was keeping from him. Sakura reminded Naruto of all the work Shikamaru did to prepare Naruto for becoming Hokage, and that it likely had something to do with that. Naruto was aware of all that Shikamaru did on his behalf, but wondered if it was worth Shikamaru's trouble. A few days later, Naruto was approached by Temari, who was worried about Shikamaru's recent behavior, and now asked where he was. Naruto didn't know, and was troubled to find that neither did Choji or Ino. He finally asked Kakashi, who admitted under pressure, that Shikamaru was on a secret assignment to the Land of Silence. Naruto joined Temari's team of Suna ninja to go to the Land of Silence to provide assistance to Shikamaru. They interrogated the locals upon arrival and learned that Shikamaru had been captured by the Enlightened Ones. They attacked the prison where Shikamaru was being held and successfully freed him, enabling him to complete his mission by taking the country's leader, Gengo, into custody. Afterwards, Naruto demanded that Shikamaru never keep anything from him again. Otherwise, their future Hokage advisor relationship would be very problematic. Shikamaru agreed and apologized. While Shikamaru returned to Konoha, Naruto and several under Konoha and Suna shinobi remain in the Land of Silence to help the country recover from Gengo's control. The last, Naruto the movie. During the Rinne Festival, Naruto, being the hero of the village, was bombarded with gifts from various young Konoha residents. To distract Naruto from all the attention, Konohamaru invited him over to his grandfather's storage, where Naruto found a scarf that his mother had knitted for him before she passed. He happily began wearing the scarf around the village, treating it as a precious memento. Naruto attempted to discuss his newfound attention to Hinata over ramen, but it made her uncomfortable and ran away with embarrassment, much to his confusion and leading him to chase after her. While looking for her, Naruto stumbled across a horde of puppets trying to abduct Hinata. After he rescued her, they were notified that Hinata's sister Hanabi was kidnapped by Tonerio Otsutsuki and were assigned on a team to rescue her. Kakashi informed the team of the imminent crashing of the moon onto the Earth and asked that they do what they can to stop it in case Tonerio was connected in some way. They follow Hanabi's trail, which led into a cave. While traveling through it, they were caught in genjutsu formed from their own memories. From seeing events of his own past and some of Hinata's, Naruto was reminded of her feelings for him and realized that he felt the same way. Sakura released them from the genjutsu and continued with the mission. After the team encountered the gatekeeper, Naruto noticed that Hinata was missing and left to go find her, only to discover that she was in a conversation with a disguised Tsunade who he quickly defeated. Hinata wouldn't share what she had discussed with the puppet, so Naruto vowed not to let her out of his sight again. They continued through the cave and eventually arrived in the moon's interior, which the team then split up to investigate the surrounding settlement. After the team regrouped, Naruto watched Hinata as she repaired her ruined scarf. She expressed her concerns that she wasn't doing enough to save her sister, so Naruto reassured her and also told her how he felt. Tsunade appeared before she could respond, prompting Hinata to give Naruto the scarf and departed with Tsunade. Naruto chased after them, believing Hinata was taken against her will. When Hinata did not deny Tsunade's statement about them getting married, Naruto became too shocked to react. Tsunade attacked him, destroying the scarf and leaving him badly injured. After 3 days of around-the-clock medical attention from Sakura, he woke up. Naruto was distraught, believing that there was no reason to go on if Hinata had chosen Tsunade. Sakura reassured him that Hinata couldn't really have feelings for Tsunade as she loved Naruto too much, and had a reason for doing what she did. As his strength returned, Naruto vowed he would save Hinata and for her to wait for him. The team soon infiltrated Tsunade's castle, and after locating Hinata, Naruto went after her while the others rescued Hanabi. He arrived in time to interrupt Tsunade's and Hinata's wedding ceremony. Tsunade, who was controlling Hinata, had her attack Naruto, only for him to break his control and escape with her. Hinata led him to the Tenseigan that was controlling the moon's descent, which they individually tried to destroy to no success, but together they succeeded. After regrouping with the others, Hinata gave Naruto a piece of the scarf she had knitted for him, which he graciously accepted. The team then attempted to flee the castle, but a furious Tsunade appeared and separated the group, which gave him the opportunity to recapture Hinata. During their intense fight, Naruto managed to overcome Tsunade's new power and overwhelm him by concentrating all of his chakra into his fist and defeated him with a single punch, freeing Hinata in the process. Tsunade tried one final attack but was unable to control its power, leading Naruto to intervene and save him from drifting out into space. Afterwards, Hinata informed Tsunade of Hamura's actual decree, and he, regretful about what he did, allowed the team to return home. As they were returning to Earth, Naruto reaffirmed his feelings for Hinata and stated that he wanted to be with her for the rest of his life, much to her happiness, and the two later shared their first kiss. Sakura Hiden, thoughts of love riding upon a spring breeze. When Naruto and Hinata were out on a date in Konoha, they ran into Sakura. Sensing that Sakura was overworking herself, they invited her to join them, but she declined. One day, while Naruto was teaching a class of academy students how to spar, he noticed Sakura, who was wandering around Konoha feeling distressed. Sensing that she needed a distraction, Naruto insisted that she help him, which took her mind off recent events. As thanks, Sakura informed Naruto of something she had avoided telling him. There were rumors that Sasuke was trying to destroy Konoha. She didn't believe the rumors were true, but nobody had been able to get in touch with Sasuke to confirm. Naruto pointed out that Sasuke must not be worried by these rumors, otherwise he would respond to the messages he'd been sent. Sakura thought this was a good point and was put at ease. When Naruto and Hinata later learned that Sakura had been captured by Kido Sumiki, they joined with Kakashi in going to rescue her. On finding her, however, they discovered she had already defeated Kido. They congratulated her on her victory. Konoha Hiden, the perfect day for a wedding. Naruto and Hinata decided to get married and invited their friends and family. Because his parents were dead, Naruto asked Iruka to attend as his father, which Iruka happily agreed to. On the day of the wedding, though, Naruto kept his real father in his thoughts, looking upon Minato's face on the Hokage rock with admiration as he and Hinata were about to walk down the aisle. New Era. Shortly after their wedding, Naruto and Hinata had a son, and 2 years later they had a daughter. During the years, Naruto was constantly busy, leading to him never taking the Chūnin Exams. Despite being a genin, Naruto was selected to succeed Kakashi and become the 7th Hokage. On the day of his inauguration, Boruto accidentally destroyed Himawari's toy, leading to Naruto stepping in to defend his son from Himawari's gentle fist strike, but he ended up taking the blow instead, rendering him unconscious. He ended up missing his own inauguration, forcing Konohamaru to impersonate him during the ceremony. As Hokage, he hosted a Kage summit in Konoha in which Sasuke and Sakura attended alongside the 4 Kage and their bodyguards. During the meeting, Sasuke reported that a threat greater than Kaguya might exist somewhere, which Naruto and the other Kage decided to keep the information between themselves to avoid causing any panic. Academy Entrance Arc. In the anime, Naruto partakes in the entrance ceremony at the academy, which leads him to being mortified after Boruto arrives and damages Hokage Rock. After the incident, Naruto learns from the Kaminarimon Company president that Boruto is having a positive impact on his son, leading to Naruto smiling. Later, as a mysterious presence continues to cause people in the village to randomly attack the citizens, Naruto decides to begin an investigation, which uncovers that victims are having their chakra severely drained to the point of hospitalization. In the anime, as the mysterious attacks begin to happen more throughout the village, Naruto's efforts to uncover the truth begin to exhaust him, and being insisted by Shikamaru to go home and rest. Upon arriving, he learns that Boruto was acting very strange recently. Once confronting his son about his new attitude, Boruto insisted that he had finally manifested his Byakugan, leading them to talk to Hiyashi. Upon arriving at his household, Hiyashi, like Naruto, had doubts that Boruto had awakened the Byakugan. Deciding to test Boruto, Hanabi faces Boruto, which concluded that Boruto hadn't manifested the dojutsu. Afterwards, Naruto talked with Hiyashi about his grandchildren. After assigning Sai to investigate the attacks in the village, he returned home late and confided in Hinata about his ineptitude in interacting with his children, believing it to stem from his growing up without parents. Sometime later, Naruto saved civilians at the Konoha purification plant. As Boruto decided to check on his hospitalized friends, realizing that his son was conducting his own investigation on the attacks, Naruto dragged Boruto to the surgery room, showing his son what was becoming of the victims of prolonged rampages. While hoping to sway Boruto into staying out of this matter, it only strengthened Boruto's resolve. Shino then appeared, encouraging Naruto to have faith in his son as the teacher himself was recently saved by Boruto's efforts. While still weary, Naruto decided to trust Shino's judgment. While having dinner with his family in Mitsuki, Naruto abruptly departs to handle a matter involving strange chakra spreading across Konoha. Soon after, Sai discovered that the culprit behind these attacks was Sumire Kake. Naruto learned from Kakashi that Sumire's intention was to unleash the Gozu Tenno on the village. Later, when Sai found Sumire, she unleashed the Nue. Naruto soon joined the unit to fend off the creature, but Kakashi warned Naruto not to get too close, having realized that the endgame of this creature was to amass enough chakra to produce a powerful enough explosion to destroy the village. While the barrier team worked to keep the creature at bay, it suddenly teleported away. As Naruto attempted to find the creature with Sage Mode, Kakashi deduced that the creature worked differently than normal summonings, existing naturally in its own separate dimension. Upon Sumire turning herself in, Sai and Shikamaru notify him that it's due to Boruto appealing to her genuine love of her friends in the academy, making Naruto relieved that he decided to admit her in the first place. Later, he informs Boruto that while he must look to the welfare of the entire village and does not have absolute say, he promises to help Sumire. Ultimately, it was decided to pardon her and let her return to the academy. Later, Naruto sent a clone to meet up with Sasuke, giving him the research on the Gozu Tenno. Sasuke quickly deduced that this was an attempt from Danzo to recreate Kaguya's technique. Before Sasuke departs, he asks Naruto to apologize to Sakura for his continued absence, leading to Naruto feeling responsible for it. Sarada Uchiha Arc. In the anime, when Himawari became sick due to a fever, Naruto hurried home worried about her, in which Boruto pointed out that his Hokage cloak is inside out. When Naruto and Boruto began fighting over what Himawari should eat, Hinata became angry and kicked them both out of the house due to them being noisy. Naruto then invited Boruto to eat with him at Ramen Ichiraku to try to bond with him, in which he accepted. As they ate, Naruto told his son all the precious memories he had in the shop, such as being acknowledged by Iruka, hanging out with Team 7, and going on his first date with Hinata. On the day of the 5 Kage summit in Konoha, Moegi and Ura notify Naruto that Boruto had vandalized the Hokage rock. Before Boruto could do any more damage, Naruto catches and stops him. Afterwards, he gives his son a lecture about how the whole village is his family. The ordeal leads Naruto to arriving late to one Kage meeting, which he apologizes for. As Boruto's graduation exam from the academy was approaching, Naruto used a shadow clone to help him train. Meanwhile, the real Naruto received a report from Sasuke about a boy with a Sharingan. After he consulted with Kakashi about it, Naruto decided to accompany Sasuke to a meeting with Orochimaru, leaving behind a shadow clone to manage Konoha in his absence. He made a point to leave the village before Boruto could come see him off, though he asked Shikamaru to apologize to Boruto on his behalf. While on his way to the rendezvous point, Naruto sensed that he was being followed by Sarada Uchiha and Chōchō Akimichi. He initially tried to ignore them, but eventually decided it would be better to confront them than to let them continue coming after him. When he arrived to speak with them, however, he found them being attacked by the same boy from Sasuke's report. Although he was pleased they were able to hold their own against their attacker, Naruto decided to get personally involved when he saw the boy had a Mangekyo Sharingan. The boy could do nothing against Naruto's Nine Tails Chakra mode, so he fled with a creature's space-time ninjutsu. Because the boy was apparently after Sarada, Naruto allowed them to come with him so he could keep them safe. While having lunch, Naruto told Sarada about what her father was like growing up, and informed both Sarada and Chōchō in what ways they take after their parents. Sarada was not only interested to hear about Sasuke, but also found that she got along quite well with Naruto. As they got close to where they were supposed to meet up with Sasuke, Sarada used the bathroom as an excuse to sneak away from Naruto and Chōchō so that she could see him first. Naruto followed, and on arrival was reprimanded by Sasuke for bringing children with him. Sarada explained that she came without permission as she wanted to know if Sakura was her real mother. Sasuke ignored the question, which only upset her and caused her to storm out. Naruto tried to comfort her, but his assurances that Sasuke meant well did not improve her mood. Before he could continue, he sensed the boy's return and defended Sarada as the boy and his father, Shin Uchiha, attack. Sasuke assisted in fighting off Shin and his son, but Shin was able to manipulate Sasuke's sword and used it to stab Naruto. Naruto continued attacking Shin despite his injury, though he tried to use being impaled by the sword to win sympathy. Kurama ridiculed Naruto for allowing himself to be stabbed at all, but assured him that it wouldn't kill him. Sakura suddenly arrived to lend assistance and landed a fatal blow on Shin, forcing Shin to escape and took Sakura with him. Unable to detect where Shin had taken Sakura, they continued to Orochimaru's lair. Orochimaru informed them that Shin was an old experiment of his that he had since lost control of. Naruto noticed Sarada sneaking off with Suigetsu during Orochimaru's explanation and followed them, listening in as Suigetsu ran a DNA test that suggested Sarada's real mother was actually Karin. Not knowing what the truth was, Naruto was upset first with Sasuke for the secret he had seemingly been keeping, but also with Suigetsu for being involved. He approached Sarada to discuss it with her, but she lashed out at him, believing he had been a knowing participant in the lie that Sakura was her mother. When she tried to insist that having no blood relation to Sakura meant they weren't family, Naruto took a firm stance. He wasn't related to most of Konoha's villagers, yet he still considered them his family because they were important to him. In the same way, Sakura and Sarada were family because they were important to each other. Sarada realized how much she loved Sakura and decided she wanted to help rescue her. She reunited with the others and they head out for Shin's hideout. Using Sasuke's Rinnegan, they were able to reach where Shin took Sakura, only to find Sakura faring fine on her own fighting him. With the numbers growing against him, Shin called his sons, actually his clones, to assist, but they turned against him and killed him because he always mistreated them. The clones then turned their attention to Naruto and the others, which Naruto engaged with his own shadow clones. Because they were only children, he frightened them into surrendering by manifesting Kurama. After learning that Sakura indeed was her biological mother, Sarada reconciled with her parents, much to Naruto's happiness. Then they all returned to Konoha, with Shin's clones being delivered to the Konoha orphanage. School Trip Arc. In the anime, to improve relationships with other villages and symbolically show the warring era was over, Naruto set up an official class trip for the academy to go to Kirigakure. Working out the details with Chojuro, he also got a tour guide for the class. Graduation Exams Arc. In the anime, as academy classes began preparing for their graduation exams, the various students were interviewed about their future goals alongside a parent. Naruto, however, was unable to join his son as he was busy discussing matters with Orochimaru about his research on Danzo's old experiments. As Orochimaru delivered promising results to aid Sasuke in his own investigations, while Shikamaru voiced his still limited trust in Orochimaru, Naruto was more relaxed about Orochimaru roaming the village. On Boruto's first day as a genin, Naruto managed to get some time to have breakfast with his family and see Boruto off to be assigned to his team. After Boruto left, Shikamaru went to Naruto's house to collect him and inform him of his various duties for the day. Later on, Naruto was in a field, testing a number of shinobi's skills in barrier ninjutsu to better protect the village, with Mirai Sarutobi as his escort for the day. When Boruto and his teammates came to him, he was thinking that they want to change teams, but was pleasantly surprised when they instead wanted their team denomination to be changed to Team 7. Genin Mission Arc. In the anime, as the recently promoted genin began to prepare for their first missions, Naruto prepared to present them as it was customary. While Boruto was bragging about how easy it will be, Naruto sternly warned him not to be so cocky. He presented Team 7 with a D-rank mission to aid the Green Banks village who were being attacked by bandits for their crops. Naruto stressed that the team should show teamwork to complete the mission. Byakuya Gang Arc. In the anime, when the Byakuya Gang began conducting heists throughout Konoha, their act of distributing their stolen wealth to the poor began gaining much support from many of the villagers, leading to a protest breaking out after the group fooled the villagers into believing the Kaminariman company was corrupt. After Shinobi determined the leaders of the protest were being manipulated by genjutsu and freed them, Naruto and his clones appeared before the crowds and began quelling them with his speech. Straight after, Naruto headed towards the Land of Fire's border where he apprehended Gekko, who had used the riots as a distraction to steal the magnum opus from the Ninjutsu Research Center. Naruto Shinden, Parent and Child Day. After announcing Parent and Child Day, Shikamaru took care of Naruto's paperwork, allowing him to spend time with Himawari. Despite being sleep deprived, Naruto accepted his daughter's wish and began searching for a Kurama doll with her. After being joined by Kiba during their unsuccessful search, he bought Himawari a Shukaku doll, to which she enjoyed. Later, with Himawari going to bed with Hinata, Naruto approached Boruto and apologized for not having spent any time during the holiday with his son. He gave Boruto a custom shuriken as a present, and the two decided to spend the remainder of the evening training together. Versus Momoshiki Arc. In the anime, on the day of Boruto's birthday, work got in the way, making him unable to attend, instead only arriving home late at night with a birthday present as an apology. Later, as more investigations to the workings of Kaguya continued, a third Otsutsuki clan ruin tied to her was found. Determined to find out all he could, Naruto prepared to investigate it personally. On the way out, Naruto was approached by his son, demanding that his father promised he would show up for Himawari's birthday that was coming up, which he did. Later, Naruto remained busy with his Hokage duties and continued having a strained relationship with his son. Konoha has grown to be a large city under Naruto's leadership, although Naruto is overwhelmed with the responsibilities of being Hokage, leading him to create shadow clones to tend to his family and the villagers. When Boruto and his team report to Naruto after a mission, Naruto asked his son to address him as the Seventh instead of Dad, and reminded him the importance of teamwork, which annoyed his son as he believed they could handle anything on his own. Boruto warned his father to be home for Himawari's birthday party or else he will never forgive him. Katasuke Tono then entered his office, requesting permission from Naruto to allow participants of the upcoming Chūnin Exams to use his new invention, the Kote. However, Naruto refused on the grounds that it did not show one's true abilities as a shinobi. Naruto was unable to make it to his daughter's birthday party and sent a shadow clone instead. However, the clone ended up disappearing and dropping the cake when Naruto became fatigued, which enraged Boruto and caused him to throw Naruto's old tattered jacket out the window. Naruto felt guilty for letting his family down, and Shikamaru told him to go home and rest. The jacket was found by Sasuke, who returned to Konoha to ask for help in deciphering a scroll he found in Kaguya's abandoned castle. They met in Naruto's office where Sasuke mentioned his meeting with Boruto, and this leads to them making a bet on whether the nature of a shinobi has changed in regards to Boruto, to which Sasuke says it hasn't, and Naruto says it has. Naruto wasn't surprised when Boruto won the first test, but after being advised by Shikamaru to reach out to him, Naruto congratulated him via email, much to Boruto's annoyance. While the scroll was being deciphered, Naruto sent a clone to meet up with Sasuke and asked him if it was true that he was training Boruto. Naruto said that perhaps Sasuke was right concerning the nature of shinobi remaining the same, to which Sasuke agrees. Naruto was nervous about the outcome of the second test, but after learning Boruto passed, Naruto was overjoyed. Later, he met with Boruto in his bedroom and personally congratulated him and told him not to lose against Shikadai. Naruto offered a fist bump, but Boruto only smiled as he didn't want his father to discover the kote he was wearing. For the third test, Naruto chose to sit with Hinata and Himawari rather than with the other Kage as they watched Boruto fight in the third round and finally against Shikadai Nara. At the end, Naruto suspected something was wrong after Boruto won. In the anime, he did not realize anything was amiss until Boruto's next match in the finals when he defeated Shinki. He asked Hinata to use her Byakugan, and she noticed Boruto was wearing a kote. In the anime, he realized the truth on his own. Realizing that Boruto was using the exam-forbidden tool to advance his techniques, a disappointed Naruto confronted him in the arena, ordered that Boruto be disqualified from the exam, and took Boruto's forehead protector from him, suspending his ninja status. He told Boruto they would talk about this at home, but Boruto lashed out at him that Naruto doesn't know how to give him a lecture when he's never been home. Suddenly, Momoshiki and Kinshiki Otsutsuki appear and begin attacking the arena. Naruto is knocked out of the arena by Momoshiki, but he rushes back to defend his son when he is in danger and is shortly joined by Sasuke and Sarada. Sasuke informed Naruto that the two enemies are the new threat written about in the scroll. Naruto realizes he is their target and demands to know what they want. After Momoshiki reveals he wants Kaguya's chakra and eventually Kurama's from the Seventh Hokage, Naruto and Sasuke combine Kurama and Susanoo to shield themselves and their children from the enemy's attacks. Naruto also dispatches shadow clones to protect civilians that hadn't managed to flee from the arena. Determined to protect his son and his friends, Naruto ultimately decides to allow himself to be captured in Momoshiki's jutsu and asks Sasuke to take care of Boruto for him. Just before Naruto disappears, he looks over his shoulder and offers his son one last smile. Naruto is teleported to another dimension and bound by Momoshiki and Kinshiki to a god tree. Naruto resisted as Momoshiki extracted half of Kurama's chakra from inside Naruto. The two debated the merits of instant strength and earned strength, causing Naruto to realize his own lack of effort in trying to understand Boruto, which is what drove him to cheat with the Shinobi Gauntlet. During the ordeal, Sasuke, Boruto, and the other Kage arrived to rescue him. Naruto, surprised to see Boruto wearing his old jacket, told his son that it was like looking at one of his shadow clones. When he tried to apologize to Boruto for not being there for him, Boruto replied that it was alright and that he wants to hear more about Naruto's past. After the other Kage failed to defeat Jinchūriki and the latter was absorbed by Momoshiki, Naruto and Sasuke joined forces to fight him and initially gained the upper hand until Naruto was briefly imprisoned by boulders and Sasuke was severely burned by Momoshiki's lava release. Naruto became enraged upon seeing Sasuke injured, but was relieved to find he was alright and still able to fight after being healed by Kurama's chakra. Once again, by combining Kurama and Susanoo, they managed to defeat Momoshiki and cut his lava creature in half. But Katasuke rushed in and began firing ninjutsu attacks from his kote at Momoshiki, which he absorbed and used to attack Naruto and the others. Naruto is restrained by black rods while Momoshiki prepares to eliminate the rest of the Kage. When Boruto used his vanishing Rasengan against Momoshiki to free his father and the other Kage, Naruto was greatly surprised to find that his son was able to use the Rasengan. As they prepare their final assault, Naruto helps Boruto create a parent and child Rasengan, which Boruto himself unleashes upon Momoshiki and ultimately kills him. After the battle ends, Naruto sits with Sasuke and agrees that Sasuke won their bet. Naruto proudly looked on at his son and stated that he would always be there to watch Boruto grow as his father. After returning home, Naruto posed for a photograph with Boruto, Sasuke, and the 4 other Kage. One morning, as Boruto left to meet with his team and Naruto left to go to work, both wished for the other to do their best and bumped fists with each other. While Boruto was giving a live interview on Konoha TV, Naruto watches it from his desk. Chōchō Arc. In the anime, when the 2 lead actors of a popular TV drama received a death threat, Naruto assigned Team 7 and Team 10 to protect them. Mitsuki's Disappearance Arc. In the anime, when 2 guards were attacked by unknown assailants, the village was put on lockdown. Naruto and his advisors then oversaw Ino probe Uo's mind for answers, learning that Mitsuki had left willingly with the attackers. When Naruto revealed to the others Mitsuki was in fact Orochimaru's son, much outrage followed, prompting Naruto to give his rationale on why he accepted Mitsuki into Konoha. Later, Naruto was informed that Boruto and Sarada left the village to find Mitsuki, leading to him dispatching Team 10 to retrieve the pair. When Naruto learned that the attackers were en route to the land of Earth, he contacted Kurotsuchi, who promised to investigate the matter herself and return the Konoha Genin pursuing Mitsuki. While discussing Mitsuki's apparent betrayal, Konohamaru insisted he'd be the one to bring his student back, which Naruto reluctantly agreed to. Naruto later attempted to contact Kurotsuchi but was told she wasn't available, leading to him becoming suspicious something was happening in Iwagakure. Later, Naruto's fears were proven correct when Shikadai contacted his father via phone, revealing that Iwagakure was taken over as part of a plan by Onoki. Knowing they couldn't act hastily, Naruto talks with the other officials and decides he would join Shikamaru in meeting with the other daimyo to get their support on engaging this personal matter. In getting approval, Naruto and an escort moved out and allowed his son's peers to come with him. Upon arriving at the village, Naruto applauded Konohamaru's work during Iwa's internal struggle. Naruto stayed in the village and attended Onoki's funeral, prompting him to say the Tsuchikage left behind a grand legacy and lesson about perseverance. After returning to the village, while personally applauding Boruto and Sarada for loyally supporting Mitsuki, whose own efforts were revealed to have saved Iwa, he was still reluctantly forced to strip the Team 7 Genin of their shinobi status as punishment for deserting the village. Later, Kurotsuchi's gratitude and recommendation convinced Naruto to reinstate them. Konohamaru's Love Arc. In the anime, due to Konohamaru spying on Asaki, a complaint was filed against him, prompting Naruto to place him under house arrest. One-Tail Escort Arc. In the anime, after Sai delivered a sealed shukaku in a tea kettle to Naruto as a result of Gaara being unable to protect it in the Land of Wind from Urashiki Otsutsuki, Shukaku explained that it only made it to Konoha due to Boruto acting as a decoy against their pursuer. Informing Shikamaru that he was going to the scene, Sasuke approached the pair and told them that it wasn't necessary, as Sasuke had earlier protected Boruto and forced Urashiki to retreat. 3 days later, Naruto and Gaara discussed the incident in his office. Afterwards, Naruto had a shadow clone see the Kazekage off at the Thunder Rail station. Sometime later, Naruto brought Shukaku to his house, until an official safe house had been decided on. Later on that evening, Naruto had a telepathic meeting with some of the other tailed beasts to discuss how to handle being targeted. As a result of guarding Shukaku, Naruto got to spend time with his family before escorting Shukaku to its safe house. Time Slip Arc. In the anime, Naruto was notified that Urashiki was on the move again, being even more indiscriminate in his stealing of chakra. While pleased that all of the 5 great shinobi nations were on alert and willing to share all intel, Shikamaru voiced his concern about Mirai's sudden disappearance and also wondered what their enemy's true goal was for gathering chakra. Later, Naruto decided to have the Genin test new surveillance equipment designed to follow their location. During the test, Urashiki was spotted in the area. This prompted most of the Konoha nin in the village to engage, while Shikamaru stayed in the Hokage office to help protect Naruto. Urashiki managed to get hold of a device that allowed him to travel into the past, prompting Sasuke and Boruto to be sent back alongside him to the time period shortly after Sasuke's defection. A teenage Naruto and Jiraiya encounter the pair, who were disguising their identities and their occupations as traveling performers. As they were foreigners, Tsunade has Naruto and Jiraiya look over them. Spending time with Boruto, Naruto was intrigued by the things he was told and allowed him to sleep at his apartment. The day after cleaning up a bathhouse together, Urashiki targeted Naruto. Failing at extracting Kurama's chakra, Urashiki instead captured him and trapped Boruto, Sasuke, and Jiraiya in a rock prison before retreating. Using a cave as a hideout, Urashiki forced Naruto's seal to emerge and used his chakra in an attempt to forcibly extract Kurama's chakra from within Naruto. Urashiki's actions caused Kurama's chakra to leak out, forcing Naruto to undergo his version 1 transformation. Arriving to rescue Naruto, Boruto attempted to reason with his father, but Naruto had since completely lost his common sense and attacked Boruto. Jiraiya managed to subdue the Nine-Tails chakra with a seal, and Sasuke forced Urashiki to retreat. Afterwards, Jiraiya offered to train Naruto and Boruto to prepare them for Urashiki. The following day, Naruto began working with Boruto to synchronize their chakra to create a new cooperation jutsu under Jiraiya's guidance. After Boruto left to clear his head, Sasuke approached Naruto with food from Jiraiya and told Naruto about how a friend struggled for years to help him after he lost his way, but he never gave up until finally succeeding, which renewed Naruto's conviction. Continuing his training the next day, the pair was approached by Sakura, who had found Sasuke's note from the future and questioned why Sasuke's name was on it before shortly leaving with an answer. Naruto and Boruto resumed their training, which ultimately left them exhausted. They were approached again by Urashiki, who subdued the pair. Jiraiya and Sasuke joined the fight. Deciding the foe's newest technique was too dangerous, Sasuke tackled himself and Urashiki over the ledge and into a river to let his allies escape. While tending to Jiraiya's wounds, the group tried to figure out how to deal with Urashiki. Boruto realized that in the fight, the blood splattered on Urashiki was drying much faster than Boruto's. After engaging the foe again to test a theory, they concluded that Urashiki's technique lets him warp into the past by several seconds, giving him a pseudo-clairvoyance from his experiences. Urashiki attacked the Konoha nin again, where Jiraiya contained everyone in his summoning, Toad Mouthbind, during which Naruto unleashed a continuous barrage of clones on Urashiki. While he easily countered the assault with his technique, Urashiki inadvertently poisoned himself from the acidic vapors of the Great Toad's belly far sooner than the Konoha nin due to his repeated time warp. Once Jiraiya released the summoning, Naruto and Boruto then proceeded to knock out Urashiki with a Rasengan assault. Enraged, Urashiki awoke and consumed all his accumulated chakra and his eyes, leading to him undergoing a transformation that strengthened him. Jiraiya and the two Genin were quickly overwhelmed by Urashiki's continued assaults, even with the aid of the returning Sasuke. Urashiki deliberately held back on Naruto, hoping to anger him enough to unleash the Nine-Tails chakra. His efforts ultimately succeed when Jiraiya took a hit that was intended for Naruto, triggering the transformation. Boruto, however, managed to reach Naruto, and together they were able to perfect their new collaboration technique. With the combined effort of Jiraiya and Sasuke, the two kids were able to plow through Urashiki's final attack and obliterate him. After the battle, both Naruto and Boruto lose consciousness due to their exhaustion. Days after Naruto and Boruto recovered at the Konoha hospital, he was upset to hear that Boruto and Sasuke would be leaving now that their mission was complete. Before they left, Naruto gave Boruto a gift. Sasuke used his Sharingan to erase everyone's memories of the events to preserve the timeline. On seeing the Sharingan, Naruto had what appeared to be a brief moment of recognizing Sasuke before losing consciousness. Upon their return, Naruto was approached by Sasuke, who explained the recent situation he and Boruto had. Naruto was amazed at such a tale. Later, while visiting Jiraiya's grave to pay his respects, he was approached by Boruto, who decided to share with Naruto the gift of a special ramen given to him by his past self. Sometime later, Sumire was officially transferred to the scientific ninja weapons team. Naruto reached out to the Land of Iron and requested an exchange student to take Tsunade's spot on Team 15. Shikamaru was concerned about his experimental move of mixing shinobi with samurai, but Naruto insisted it would help close the gap between the two. Later, Naruto attended his father-in-law's birthday, impressed by Boruto getting past his aversion to mushy feelings to suggest a regular family photo. Mujina Bandits Arc. In the anime, Naruto set up a mission for Team 7 to infiltrate Hozuki Castle to verify the information about the Mujina Bandits offered by Kokuri in exchange for protection. After losing contact with Mujo, the prison warden who is working with Konohagakure, Naruto sent Sai and a team to investigate. Ultimately, they succeeded in returning Kokuri to the village to question him about the Mujina Bandits before letting the man go free. At the Hokage building, Naruto hosted a Kage summit, during which the Kage bickered about topics concerning Konoha, leading to Kurotsuchi demanding Konoha disclose all of its confidential information as village's proof to peace by the next summit, and said Iwagakure would leave the 5 Great Shinobi Country Alliance if they didn't. Afterwards, the summit ended. Naruto was then told by Shikamaru that the reason why Kurotsuchi was acting the way she was because she was being pressured by the Earth Daimyo to invade the Land of Flowers for the crops they had to offer, and expressed sadness that Kurotsuchi didn't tell them as he believed that the Shinobi Union would have definitely aided her when it came to food scarcity and other issues and the potential of another war, remembering the casualties of the last war and not wanting to use and introduce the next generation to the horrors of war. Naruto found hope, however, when Shikamaru said they could negotiate with her so the invasion wouldn't happen. Unfortunately, in the next Kage summit, Naruto's revelation of Kurotsuchi's true intentions only caused Darui to angrily threaten to kill Kurotsuchi, and to make things worse, Naruto and Sasuke's strength were being used as a boon for Kurotsuchi's cause, as they had the power to take over the continent, and the imbalance in strength between Konoha and the other villages was thus immense. Despite Naruto's attempts to ensure Konoha would not try to take over the world, Shikamaru responded by paralyzing and threatening to crush Kurotsuchi's neck, much to Naruto's horror and fury. Quickly, Naruto used his chakra to break free of Shikamaru's shadow and angrily put Shikamaru in place before attempting to plead for peace, but he could not sway Kurotsuchi or Darui, who made it clear they would go to war if the invasion were to occur. Furious about the outcome, Naruto angrily confronted Shikamaru when they walked home and was rebuffed by his friend, who told him to think with his head and start responding harshly enough. Several months after the Hozuki Castle mission, Naruto discussed Katasuke being under mind control with Sai and Ibiki, and had them continue their investigation while Shikamaru handled Katasuke. Afterwards, Mirai Sarutobi informed Naruto and Team Konohamaru successfully captured the Mujina Bandits, much to his joy. As Shoujoji was discussed, Naruto told everyone they had to hurry up and handle the missing nin. Shikamaru then informed Naruto of his upcoming meeting with the Fire Daimyo, Ikkyu Madoka, which Naruto had forgotten was later during the day, during which he discussed financial matters with Ikkyu. Kara Actuation Arc. Later in the anime, Team 25 and Sasuke were sent to investigate the information extracted from the captured Shoujoji about Kara's existence in Amegakure. Upon their return, they learned that Kara had long ago abandoned their facility there and were performing biological experiments. They also learned that they were in fact civilians who sympathized with Kara and its goals. Naruto was concerned to learn that Amegakure was in shambles, as it had yet had to make any recovery since the Fourth Shinobi World War. He was determined to help out the village. Naruto learned that Victor, the president of the Land of Valley's premier medical and research company, was a member of Kara who somehow obtained a sample of the First Hokage's cells. Naruto was greatly concerned that Team 7 was defeated by 2 inners. Upon seeing Boruto in treatment, he was certain that Boruto would be fine. Afterwards, Naruto discussed with his advisors on the next move. Shikamaru offered to use his connections in the Land of Valleys to get permission to investigate Victor's company. 3 days later, it was approved for Naruto to send Mugino and Konohamaru to stealthily investigate. Later, Naruto sent Team 10 on a joint mission with Team Shinki to retrieve Urashiki's puppet. He later listened to Shikadai's report on the mission, which greatly concerned and disturbed him. After Boruto recovered from his new training, Naruto gave his son permission to return to the Land of Valleys to return the wedding ring of their recent client's husband to her. Following the defeat of Victor and his amoral experiments, Naruto received a report on the events. Upon Konohamaru and Mugino's return, Konoha leadership discussed how to handle Kara, having learned influential figures like Victor were associated with the organization and finding evidence in their investigation that Kara had spies all around. While many considered closing off the gates to Konohagakure to stop the flow of information, Naruto was torn on this, valuing the new peace between the village and the rest of the world. After talking to various officials in the village and witnessing Boruto and his friends work on an experiment to improve wireless communications, Naruto decided not to close the gates as it would deter cooperation with the outside world, instead deciding to reinforce security. Sasuke Retsuden, the Uchiha Descendants, and the Heavenly Stardust. At some point, Naruto started suffering from an illness as a result of being Jinchūriki, and was suffering damage to his chakra pathway system that would eventually strip him of his ability to use chakra altogether. To prevent this, Sasuke took on a mission to the land of Ridaku to find the polar particles that the Sage of Six Paths once used to cure himself of the very same illness. Naruto himself doesn't make a direct appearance, but it is hinted the condition has impaired Naruto's ability to perform his duties, as Shikamaru was exhausted from having taken on Naruto's workload. Naruto has expressed his wish that the children do not know about his condition. Ao Arc. In the anime, Naruto attends the memorial service for the fallen people of the Fourth Shinobi World War. Later, Naruto joins his son in a sparring match at the training hall to test out Katasuke's new invention that was fitted on his arm. During the match, Naruto defends himself from Boruto and uses the invention to absorb his son's techniques before defeating him with a single kick. Afterwards, at the Hokage's office, Naruto informs Boruto of the technology he used against him, which angered Boruto. Before Naruto could explain himself, Sasuke arrives and interrupts their conversation, calming Boruto down by pointing out the need for them with the coming danger of enemies like the Otsutsuki clan. Naruto also admitted to knowing about Boruto's mark on his right palm, which was another reason Naruto approved of the development of this advanced weaponry. While Boruto still insisted that they should rely solely on ninjutsu like in the Chūnin Exams, Naruto noted that the Chūnin Exams were to test one's growth as a ninja, where now they are in a battle for survival. Katasuke then arrived to retrieve his prototype, to which Naruto assigned Team Konohamaru a C-rank mission to escort the lead scientist back to the lab in Ryuben City. While Boruto stormed off in a huff, Naruto asked his Genin teammates to watch over him should anything happen with his mark. As Konohamaru failed to report from his mission, Naruto contacted Boruto's team at the Scientific Ninja Weapon Team's lab, who were nearest to Konohamaru's last reported location. He instructed them to search the area, but be careful and not recklessly engage any foes. While Shikamaru reminded him that Team Konohamaru were all very capable for their age, Naruto insisted that he was more concerned about the possibility of them running into the organization Kara, as Konohamaru's mission was to investigate a mysterious airship. Kawaki Arc. When Konohamaru and Mugino went missing while on a mission to investigate a state-of-the-art crashed blimp, Naruto assigned Boruto and his team to find them, as they were closest to their last known location. When Team Konohamaru returned to Konoha with Kawaki, Naruto decided he was most suitable to monitor Kawaki, and held a Kage summit to discuss the situation. Following the Kage agreeing with Naruto, he took the boy to his house, during which he foiled Kawaki's attempts at fleeing. There, Kawaki attempting to escape, but Naruto intimidated him into submission. His escape attempt resulted in Himawari's vase being destroyed. Naruto intervened when Boruto and Kawaki began fighting, and later overheard Kawaki speaking of his hardship as a result of his kama. Afterwards, Naruto took Kawaki to Yamanaka Flowers to pick a new vase, where he hugged Kawaki after he had a panic attack. Sometime later, Naruto and Boruto sparred. He defeated his son, even while Boruto used his kama. Naruto offered for Kawaki to try sparring with Boruto next time, but Kawaki declined as he couldn't use chakra, prompting Naruto to insist that all can learn to do so, and that having strong rivals will help one in accomplishing great things. Later, Boruto decided to take Kawaki's offer of learning what he knows about their kama. Deciding to do so through sparring, the two children quickly activated their respective marks. While Boruto kept up in hand-to-hand combat, Kawaki's usage of his method put Boruto on the defensive. Kawaki then launched a blast at Naruto with the intent of him absorbing it like previously, only for Boruto to instead damage his hand. Naruto called off the match and told the two to perform the Seal of Reconciliation. The event made their marks react and caused Boruto's hand to instantly heal. Before pushing the subject, Naruto was alerted of an intruder. Naruto told his son to take Himawari away while he stayed with Kawaki, certain that the intruder was after him. His assumption proved correct, as they were quickly met by Delta. She demanded Naruto hand over Kawaki to her, and Kawaki confirmed her identity as an inner from Kara. Naruto instructed Boruto to protect Himawari and Kawaki to protect himself. Fighting her, Naruto initially outperformed her with taijutsu, but she began making use of her shinobi wear to launch sneak attacks and absorb his Rasengan. Naruto entered his six-path sage mode, but Delta was eventually able to stab him and pin him down. He tried to discern her motives for wanting Kawaki, but she saw through his deception and noticed he was already healing, considering Naruto to be a monster as well. While Naruto was continually forced to hold back in fear of the spectators' safety, he continued to gradually wear down his foe, leading Delta to use her eye beams against Naruto to combat his regenerative ability. Eventually, Delta targets Himawari, leading Naruto to blocking the attack with his body, but is uninjured as Kawaki sacrificed his right arm to block the attack. Enraged at her tactics and unable to get information about who Jigen was from her, the two resume their fight. Naruto deduces that there was a limit to how much chakra her eyes can absorb, prompting him to overpower and defeat Delta with his super ultra big walrus Sengon. Defeated, Delta's body self-destructed, forcing Naruto to flee the vicinity with the children. Later, when bringing Kawaki to Katasuke to repair Kawaki's arm, the scientist informed him that the technology in Kawaki's body was too advanced for him to handle. Finding an alternative solution, Naruto gave Kawaki one of his prosthetic arms and channeled some of his chakra into Kawaki to make it work. Shocked at how sincere Naruto was at being nice, Kawaki asked to learn ninjutsu, which Naruto agreed to and began training him. Quite a while after Delta's defeat, while Naruto and Kawaki were at his house, he notices Kawaki in distress, resulting in his Kama creating a portal which Jigen emerged from. Wanting to take his son back, Naruto attempted to attack, but was repelled away and impaled by chakra-draining rods. Activating his chakra mode, Naruto kicks Jigen away from Kawaki. Jigen then proceeded to activate his Kama. Fearing for the Hokage's safety, with Jigen's power entirely above Delta's and capable of either killing or severely injuring Naruto, Kawaki stepped in and submitted, agreeing to go back willingly with Jigen if he spared Naruto. While Jigen agreed to the terms, Naruto refused to comply. Jigen responded by teleporting himself and Naruto to another dimension. As Jigen attempted to strand Naruto there, he was attacked and stopped by Sasuke. Being away from Konoha and free to fight with all their power, the pair engaged in battle with Jigen, leading Sasuke to deducing their opponent's fighting style involved shrinking himself and his rods. Pressuring Jigen, the Kara member tapped into his Kama and grew a horn. Upon seeing Jigen's development, Sasuke revealed how he resembled an unknown Otsutsuki member, and that Jigen had ties with a juvenile Ten Tails. As Sasuke also revealed that Jigen's goal was to drain the entire planet of all its chakra, the two shinobi decided to fight with their full power. Despite their strong avatar forms and teamwork, Jigen plowed through their defenses. As he swiftly wore down and pummeled his foes, he restrained the pair with rods and decided to keep Naruto alive because of Kurama in him while killing Sasuke due to his Rinnegan space-time ninjutsu. Accepting the truth, Naruto had his clones hold off Jigen while he convinced Sasuke to escape despite his friend's protests. Jigen revealed he was after Boruto Uzumaki for his Kama and sealed Naruto into a giant pot, which he shrunk, leaving Naruto trapped within the foreign dimension. Afterwards, Boro stood guard over the pot, during which Boruto and Kawaki used their Kama to transport Naruto's unconscious body out before killing the Kara member. Returning to Konoha, they were all taken to the hospital for treatment. As Naruto made a quick recovery, he was impressed to hear of the Genin's work, and joked that rebellious Genin seemed to still be a thing. The group was informed by Ino of Shikadai being taken hostage by Amado. Though he wished to speak to Shikamaru, he was glad to learn of Naruto's rescue, and revealed he wished to defect to Konoha, offering intel on Kara, Jigen, their Ten Tails, and the Otsutsuki. After Naruto gave his word as Hokage not to go back on the deal provided his intel was good, Amado began explaining all he knew. He revealed how the Otsutsuki have since before recorded history been traveling from planet to planet, harvesting each's chakra for the sake of evolving itself while destroying the planet in the process, using the Ten Tails to do so. He revealed that Jigen himself was turned into an Otsutsuki from being branded by his Kama of Ishiki. Amado also revealed to have sabotaged the blimp to free Kawaki and likewise ensured that Sasuke would get the intel of Ishiki. Amado's glasses began beeping. His glasses were taken off, revealing a holographic projection of Jigen talking with his accomplice, Koji Kashin, who intended to kill Jigen. As Naruto was intrigued by Koji's techniques and battle tactics, Amado insisted that Naruto accept his request to officially join Konohagakure with full amnesty and protection in order to hear more of his secrets, to which Naruto agreed. Amado carried on his explanation, sharing what he knew of Jigen, the Otsutsuki, and Kama. He stressed how a full rebirth of the Otsutsuki must be avoided, and claimed he'd teach them how to kill an Otsutsuki. When Jigen's death triggered Ishiki's resurrection in his body, Amado explained this also erased Kawaki's Kama to avoid duplicates, leading Shikamaru to realize that without any remaining Kama, Ishiki was vulnerable to a permanent death. After Amado was officially made a citizen of Konohagakure, made aware of his rights and limitations, he warned them of Ishiki's immediate focus on rebranding Kawaki. He advised Naruto against taking the fight to Ishiki and stressed that he had to protect Kawaki against being rebranded. Naruto took his advice and ordered a civilian evacuation, as Ishiki would seek Kawaki in Konoha. Naruto was against Boruto staying to fight him, but were interrupted by alert of Ishiki's arrival. Naruto ordered Boruto to join the evacuation as he went to confront Ishiki. Ishiki was surprised to see Naruto had escaped, but demanded Kawaki. When Naruto refused, Ishiki began shrinking various targets in the village to destroy it. Naruto activated his six-path Sage mode, but Ishiki easily overpowered him. Sasuke soon joined the fight, leveling the battlefield. He then launched his sword at Ishiki. As Ishiki attempted to shrink it, it was revealed to be Boruto transformed. As Naruto was horrified by his son's arrival, Boruto activated his Kama, transporting himself and Ishiki to another dimension. Naruto and Sasuke followed through the latter's Rinnegan. As the Konoha nin faced down Ishiki, he decided the best way to get Kawaki was to present Sasuke and Naruto's corpses to the village. The fight quickly resumed, with Naruto and Sasuke's teamwork managing to push Ishiki on the defense as he began shrinking all their attacks. However, Ishiki demonstrated a new technique, manifesting and manipulating massive black cubes that separated the duo. Realizing he was running out of options, Kurama asked Naruto if he was really willing to sacrifice himself to stop Ishiki. Naruto confirmed it, and Kurama offered a last-ditch strategy that would have a high risk in Naruto's death. Accepting his duties as Hokage, Naruto faced Ishiki and took on a new form of Baryon mode. Kurama explained to Naruto that the form is like nuclear fusion, consuming all their respective energy, and that he must be careful not to make any unnecessary movements or thoughts. The new form baffled everyone with its sheer power. Naruto quickly began overwhelming Ishiki, constantly countering and dodging the foe's various assaults. Soon after, the strain of Baryon mode began catching up as Naruto began to tire. Kurama noted this form gradually drains away all life forces, including Naruto's. However, it would also drain Ishiki's with each contact, meaning they would just have to keep pressuring Ishiki until his already diminished lifespan ran out. As Ishiki began getting desperate, he took advantage of Naruto's chakra connection to Kawaki through the latter's prosthetic arm. From this, he teleported Kawaki to them with the goal of rebranding Kawaki before his time ran out. As Kawaki tried to escape Ishiki, he opted to use Kawaki's love for Naruto against him, assaulting the downed Hokage. Despite Naruto's insistence that Kawaki forget about him, Kawaki ultimately showed himself and attacked using the ninjutsu Naruto taught him. Ishiki easily negated it and branded Kawaki again, only for it to be revealed as a shadow clone. Finally, Ishiki's time ran out and he crumbled to dust. Sasuke then asked Naruto about his new power, but before he could answer, Boruto, being controlled by Momoshiki, suddenly stabbed Sasuke's left eye. Naruto attempted to help fighting Momoshiki but collapsed, feeling heavy as lead, and passed out. Inside his subconscious, Naruto had a final conversation with Kurama. He told the Kitsune that he had no ill will to Kurama despite the loss of his parents. As Naruto was prepared to die and voiced his concerns for the village, Kurama revealed that Naruto would awake soon and be fine, as it was Kurama's life that was gambled from using Baryon mode. Kurama assured Naruto that it never actually lied to Naruto, but knew the Hokage wouldn't risk Kurama's own life, so he hid the truth. As Kurama's life began to fade, it warned Naruto that he would lose all access to Kurama's chakra and abilities, meaning he would have to be more careful from now on. Naruto desperately reached out for Kurama before waking up to see Boruto, Sasuke, and Kawaki standing over him. With Sasuke's Rinnegan and Kawaki's Kama gone, it was up to Boruto to use his mark to bring everyone back with aid from Kawaki. Upon returning to the village, Naruto was relieved. Did you enjoy our video? Be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.